still win, and the other coach give Jack and think we can still win.
Oh, they'll be looking at 6.
It's the opening siren on Grandstand AFL. Drew Morfitt, the Tigers and the Hawks.
Hale camped underneath it. Marriage comes over the top and wins it. Cochin gets a hand pass out wide, and here come the Tigers straight away. Nahas from 55 long to the goal square. Jack is there, but Vickery marks on the behind line. We have been playing for 14 seconds, and Vickery, albeit a tight angle. What a start this would be for the Tigers. They're going to the city end in the first quarter.
Gee, Nahas got a lot of room. I mean, your great strength's your great weakness. The rebounding defenders of Hawthorn have let Nahas go, and he's attacked the teeth of goal.
He starts from outside the boundary. His distance is only 10 metres. Goes the banana and misses to the far side and kicks it behind.
Let me tell you, that was a very poor umpire's decision there. He pushed him around too far. He marked it well out from there, from that spot. So I thought it was just a tough call by the umpire to push him around that far.
We're going to have a good day. We've had an umpire bake already.
But Vickery puts himself off balance and then tries to kick a banana kick. It was a poor technical shot for goal.
Told you he was good with the stick. Where it goes in long all the way into the centre square, and the Hawks try to punch it on. A little fumble from Jackson. It lets Sewell through. Hand pass to Rioli. Puts it out in front now. Bruce to run onto. He has it. He used it quickly. High ball up to full forward from Whitecross. Rough head underneath. Gee, looked like he did enough to take that mark. It was knocked out of his hands very late. Play on called and a rush behind. There'll be crankiness at both ends now.
Oh, that was a mark. Like the kick in straight up the centre of the ground. It comes off hands. It's at the circles already. Grabbed by Foley. A wide open forward line. The mark's taken by Martin, and he runs into an open goal and kicks the goal. From the kick in, end to end by the Tigers.
Well, what a kick in. That's exactly what you say, take him on. Just push it down the middle of the ground. He kicked it well inside the square. It would have been 60 or 70 metres, that kick out of fullback.
He unloaded with an absolute monster.
And then once cleared Marriage in the ruckman, all of a sudden they went to just run onto it straight into the forward line, and there was one on his own, Martin. 3 of them back there to pick from. And that's the way to take on the Hawthorn side. They all push up and shove up to block them all in there so you can't get out. Kick it over the top. Banged it long. They won't set up like that again.
It's Griffith's first game of the year. It's his first involvement, and that is the kick of the year.
That was genuinely amazing. Richmond had 2 loose players at the 50 when that ball cleared the middle. We've had 10 disposals in the game for 3 scoring shots. And nothing initially from the middle, though Tuck Winkles out a hand pass to Newman. He bounces it up to half forward, but Guerra met it hard on the attack out of defence for the Hawks. He uses it short to Whitecross. Forward of the middle now for Hale. He takes the mark, gets onto the right boot, no hesitation. He's gone for Franklin. Rance makes the spoil from behind. Morris lost it though under the pack. Franklin still lurking. Rance kept it away from him. Grigger's dispossessed. Morris tries again. He's taken to ground in a firm tackle. And there'll be no further play before the umpire into bounce.
You know the tragedy with that Griffiths kick? He will not be rewarded for it on the stat sheet, because there's no kick from a kick in.
It's just a kick in. He's got a clean sheet. The bounce just outside the 50. Third man up, Lewis. Good tackle laid. A bit of an air swing in there by Bruce. And the ball's got inside the 50 for the Hawks, but it's not coming out any further. And the umpire's going to ball it up.
Morris has the big job on Cyril Rioli.
It's a huge job, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is for a young fella.
He's a good kid, though.
What a bright start to the game. The umpire, crooked old bounce, and the whistle's gone, and the non-officiating umpire has seen something, and it's going to be a Richmond free kick. Deledio will take it in the purple and iridescent orange boots. Interesting.
For interesting read, highly questionable. He used Cochin and spreads out to the broadcast wing. Nahas put himself in the contest, which Richmond needed. He did okay. Conker got it away to Morris, who feeds it back to Griffiths, and Cochin has it again. He's at half-back controlling the play, and he used it judiciously to Tuck. Slips the hand pass away to D, who followed up out of defence. He spreads for Grigg. They'll get up to half forward on the kick. Delidio's the man. They have used it well the length of the field. Now Delidio muffs the kick. It's a scrubber in the Vickery direction. Kept away from him. Bruce gets hold of it. Hand pass to Lewis. Didn't go far. Bruce got caught with it coming back through the pack. In fact, it was Shields who got caught with it, and that's holding the ball. He did not do enough to get rid of it. and Foley rises with the free kick.
Tackle inside 50. They're valuable, and Foley's been terrific. His last 6 weeks have been absolutely outstanding. Quick, back to his best.
Now to make something of it, Nathan Foley. It'll be every bit of 50 metres from goal. Through centre half forward he comes. Foley gives it all he's got. He's tugged it, and it will miss to the left. Richmond 1-2, Hawthorn 1 behind.
Gee, it's been everything you want a game to be though so far. Guerra to kick in. Defending the city end in the first quarter, the Hawks. The kick is good. Sean Makers takes the mark, still inside defensive 50. He goes short and just finds the target in Gillum, who stretches to mark. Gillum kicks the ball back, all the way back to full-back. To Guerra once more. Now he gets it to the 50. The mark taken by Burgoyne. Hand pass to Guerra. His kick to centre wing. Rough head. Pushed in the back. They're just hands placed there by Griffiths. And he's given away the free to Roughhead, who finds at centre half forward Shields. Takes the mark. Hand pass on to Mitchell. Mitchell's kick to full forward. Franklin in the chop. And cutting it off is Newman for the Tigers. Captain's mark.
He wants to go quickly. Had Ellis in the back pocket. Hand passed outside the defensive area now for Grigg. Down the line he goes to Nahas. They're out on the southern wing. Grigg again runs forward of the play to be the next link in the chain. His kick is a short one to Revolt on a long lead. 2 good kicks out from goal. Revolt has been called to play on. Nothing definitive to go to, so we'll lob it to the hop spot. Marich is in the pack. 6 of them rise. It's off hands. Delidio overran it near the boundary. And the Hawks should combine through Burgoyne, Lewis and Mitchell to bring it out. Hand pass back to Burgoyne. Floats the hand pass up to Shields. Now Stratton at centre half back.
Hand pass a bit high for Rioli. Dropped it the first time but regathered. Scrubbers the kick up towards full forward. It's chopped off by Rance and the Tigers out of defence. It comes out to Griffiths. His kick misses the target out here on the broadcast wing. Socket forward for the Hawks. Tunnel ball by Rioli. Is that a throw, umpire? He gets away with it. Rough head to full forward. Unmarked near the goal square. And the mark to Bruce and the goal. Luke Bruce from Rugby League country in Temora gets the first goal for the Hawks. They're 1-1, the Tigers 1-2.
Look, it's a very open game, and the reason for that is that halfbacks up either end are dropping off their forwards. So in your defensive half, you've got an extra 1 or 2 players. So you will have possession of the ball, and you will have an opportunity to move the ball through the ground. Now, the sin was caused by Griffiths. Griffiths caused a midfield turnover in his own defensive midfield where they had extra numbers, and then Hawthorn are very quick to jump on that, counter-attacked, and it ended up an easy goal to Bruce. And they're really living off those type of errors. So you'll see an open game. There won't be many clearances if this keeps up, but it's going to be fast action.
Tigers by a point. Marich wins the tap. Sewell threatened with the footy. Didn't get rid of it. Tied up.
Is a tunnel ball a throw?
I reckon he slapped it rather than propelled it. Narrowly?
I can tell you, boys, that happened right in front of me. I'm not sure what's flashier, Cyril Rioli's moves or his bright yellow and orange shoes. Absolutely amazing.
Good call. In the pack, Foley gets hold of it for the Tigers. Up to half forward. Nahas came bravely as Guerra was bearing down. Didn't quite mark it, but he stays in the scrap. Nahas is going to earn a bounce, you fancy. He did well there. Wouldn't be overwhelmed by the numbers at the footy.
That's a little victory for Nahas. Beat 1 against 2 and then kept the ball in the forward line. Exactly what you're after.
50 out from the Tigers' goal. Roughhead is rucking against Marich. The secondary tap came from Rioli. It was cut off by Tuck. Morris was nearly buried into the turf as he got hold of it. The next pack forms. Ball spills out momentarily. Rioli looking to create. Marich looking to repel. Rioli turns tackler on Marich. 3 men at him now. And there it will be bounced.
Good contest inside the centre square. Tigers lead 1-2 to 1-1. Up she goes, and Marich palms the ball down to Tuck, who's pulled off his kick. Cochin gets in after it. The hand pass to Martin. What a combination. Back to Foley. He kicks long in the direction of Revolt. It clears him and is knocked away by Schoenmakers over the boundary line in the forward pocket about 5 metres around from the behind post.
The key is with those kicks inside 50, they must go to a 1-on-1 because there is an extra defender, but you need to kick away from the extra defender to a 1-on-1, give your forward a chance.
Roughhead jumps on Marich and Roughhead robes it. Ball comes to Suckling, who kicks outside the 50. Here's Franklin a mile up the ground. He's more interested in bowling blokes over than getting the ball, and he hasn't got the ball. He lays a tackle, a slinging tackle, which had been penalised and gone to the match review panel before today. Ball finishes up out of bounds on the 50 with the Tigers in attack, leading by a point.
At the throw-in, Marriage takes front position. Didn't do a lot with the tap. Threatening to get through as Martin. He wedges a kick to full forward. Revolt coming out, got hold of it. Hand pass to Nahas. Great turn in the pack. Didn't get enough on the kick to initially clear the line, but it spills clear for Edwards to tow through. No, there's a free kick for the Hawks before the decisive strike, and Stratton has averted the goal with a free kick. Chip short on the way out for Gillam. Gillam's got Young short. He's going to use him on the 45-degree angle. Young's only 25 from the defensive goal. He's looking for the switching play. Schoenmakers has got a fly from behind on Vicker. He nearly gave away the free kick. King played for the high contact, which he didn't get, and Burgoyne's able to whisk it away.
Hand pass to Suckling, who kicks towards centre wing, but coming up to meet it, Conker for the Tigers. He wins the pill, gets it across to Newman, who bounces a ball up towards half forward. Knocked away from Vickery by Guerra, and the ball over the boundary line. Throw in just outside the 50.
They don't look out of place, the Tigers, do they?
Oh, they're up and about.
They certainly are.
Inside 50s are 6 each. It's been an entertaining start. Hand pass comes to Cochin. His hand pass back into a pack makes it tough for Grigg, who has stood up in the tackle, and the umpire to bounce once more. Just a weak sunshine comes out at the MCG. Didn't think we'd see it again after yesterday. Grigg, third man up. He's bunted back for the Hawks down the direction of Whitecross. High kick towards the wing. Crumbs come down to Newman. He gets it off to Tuck, who goes with distance. Revolt a chance. No, but they got back to double team him, and the man in front took the mark. Suckling. Stratton.
It's about a fullback. Stratton uses Young. Defensive 50. Has short options in Mitchell. Uses the hand pass to Burgoyne as they try to open the play up around the southern wing. It's a kick with great penetration that should have been trapped and marked by Bruce. Instead it bounced off him. Off the ground, Rioli up to full forward. Franklin chasing to no avail. It kept rolling away from him and gets out of play. Next to the behind post. Hawks in attack, looking for the go-ahead goal. Vickery's the only ruckman on the scene. He probably should have done more with the tap than he did. Pack formed underneath it all, and no further possession.
Another chance here for the Hawks at the ball up. Hale wins the tap, getting it away from goal. Cochin, first to the ball, comes to Grigg. Hand pass down the line. Ellis goes to ground. Hawks have it though, and they keep it alive. Burgoyne, I thought he might have been pinged. He was holding the ball. He tried to be a little bit too fancy. Took two of them on, and Cochin, the man who nailed him. On defensive 50 for the Tigers. Been entertaining. It's actually a game worth more than a goal each after 13 minutes. Kick by Cochin towards centre wing. A pack gathers. It clears the pack. Tap down. Richmond have it. Ellis's kick to half forward is wide. Jackson. The ball takes a bit of a bounce and comes inboard. Guerra's got it. Jackson's got him. High, says the umpire. Free kick to Guerra.
Guerra's looking inboard. Didn't quite find what he was looking for, so he went for the pass to Young, who lamented, waited. Cochin stole it and kicks to Revolt.
He's a beauty.
You could see him coming. Cochin from about 5 or 10 metres behind, and Young just ambled towards the ball. You must go hard, son, and you'll pay the price, because that was just, he's brilliant, that Cochin. He reads the play so well.
Jack Revolt with an early chance to lift his spirits, get himself right into the game. He's wide out on the left. The Tigers spearhead. Revolt, the steady approach to 40. The drop punt is good. And that'll be good for the soul. 2-2-14 to 1-1-7. Richmond leading a quarter of an hour gone.
Well, that's your job, Jack. Go back and put them through when it's your chance to do so. Well done. And well done to Cochin. But what they've done is they've worked out what Hawthorn do. They like to chip pass from defence. They like to hit a man on his own. And you know what? They're charging at the single man on their own and trying to cut them off. And Cochin did it beautifully there. They are not allowing them to have easy kicks, and the contest has been very strong. Their midfield work has been terrific. At this stage, I would say the Tigers are well in front in the midfield. Ball-ups, boundary throw-ins, they are winning their majority. Their tackling's been spectacular. This is a super game of footy at this stage.
Figures to back you up. Clearance is 7-2. Tigers. Here's the bounce in the middle. Vickery in the ruck. Mitchell throws himself at the ball. It's stolen by Foley, who kicks to centre half forward. Revolt comes from behind and can't quite get there. Schoenmakers takes the mark. Fires out the hand pass. Schoenmakers gets it back from Birchall. And his kick's astray. Marked by D for the Tigers. Back to half forward. Revolt with one hand, not enough. Birchall is there. Revolt gets another chance. Bunted in by Marriage. Naha snaps for goal. It's offline and misses to the left-hand side from about 30 metres out. 2-2 to 1-1. 2-3 to 1-1.
He's a good play, Nahas, but to step into the realm of Milne and these types, he's had 2 opportunities to kick goals at a great small forward kick.
Where the spearing ball into Smith, hand pass to Suckling, up to Franklin. Rance again made the spoil with the swinging arm around the body, was a good play. Bruce trying to get through, Lewis as well. Jackson holding them at bay. He'll force a stoppage out on the members' wing. 15 plays 7 on Grandstand AFL. Mark McClure and Chris Connolly are experts this Saturday afternoon. Vickery wins the tap for the Tigers. Down through Jackson, on to Grigg. Out they go further for Conker. He got it from Morris. He'll wedge the ball up to the middle for Foley, and now on to Grigg. Deep forward, Revolt's the target. He wrestled with Schoenmakers, it cleared them. King's trying, buffets himself at it. Birchall came hard the other way.
Oh.
Gibson is down with a 2-man tackle. It's ferocious from the Tigers. They trap it deep forward. Now a chance to build on it.
It was a great effort. They were outnumbered, but from the clearance, Richmond spread to the ball to give opportunities where Hawthorn spread back. And they're just linking up all the way through the midfield, Richmond.
In the teeth of goal for the Tigers. Marriage palms the ball down. But it is Shark here by Burgoyne, who kicks to open country out short of the Great Southern Stand wing. First back there is Conker, who gathers, kicks the ball back, and D takes the mark. Nobody behind him. So he goes for the short little pass up the ground, and the mark's taken by Hooley. Into the middle of the ground, and Morris marks right in the circles. Now he spreads it out towards the broadcast side. Rance up from defence, the mark. The hand pass on. Griffiths, another mighty kick to the goal line. Oh, is it there? It's touch and go. Touch right on the line.
It's kicked at 60, 70 metres.
Unbelievable kick.
2 mighty kicks, one from fullback and one for a score.
Tigers by 9. Guerra a little indecisive on the kick in. He's gone for Sewell. It wasn't without a moment's risk, but Tuck couldn't affect the spoil. Sewell used it well. Hand passed it away. Smith sends it long beyond halfway. It was Birchall who sent it beyond halfway. Mark taken by Lewis. Franklin's on the double up. The hand pass wide for Rioli. It didn't reach him. Franklin stayed in the play as he headed forward, and Rioli short passes to him.
It's worked pretty hard with this, buddy.
Look, funny enough, I think the environment is set up for Hawthorn in terms of having that loose man in defence and giving the opportunities that they like, but the energy that Richmond has at every contest has just swung the tide of the game their way.
They could use this early, the Hawks. Down by 9. Franklin out on the left boot. He's pulled it all the way across the face of goal and hit the behind post. All the way up. Out of bounds on the full. No score.
But he kind of ran on a 45-degree angle, then hooked the ball. Your margin for error is huge.
Tigers bring it in short this time. Dustin Martin has it. Now he kicks out towards the boundary line. It's pinpoint. Jackson marks. Fires away the hand pass to Big Ivan. He breaks from half back with a kick to half forward. On the bounce to Nahas. It bounces away from him. 2 Hawks against him. Schoenmakers a hand pass away. Nahas works hard, and Deledio as well. And between Deledio and the other number 3, Lewis, the ball over the boundary line, in between wing and half forward. Richmond back slightly attacking. 2-4 to 1 goal 1. We've been playing 20 minutes of entertaining footy at the MCG.
Tossed in at half forward for the Tigers. Marriott should give him the tap. Good work done in the pack by Jackson to get it to Tuck. High ball inside the 50. 4 or 5 man pack. They all fly. Bircher with a hand pass to Gibson. They're under siege again. Burgoyne had a little fumble. Gets it back. Used Gibson in close. Wide and out of Schoenmakers, who needs a target outside the defensive 50, and Whitecross was that. They're queued up inboard on that angle kick for Suckling, and Birchall is on the burst. He receives, has a bounce, puts it lace out to Franklin. Wanted to play on, didn't. Decides not to have a shot himself. Instead, he honours the lead of Savage inside the 50. And Shane Savage will take the set shot at goal.
Just showed their skill level there, the Hawks. Carried the ball from one end to the other without a drop ball, without a drop mark, just in space and hit targets.
3 goals, 6 this season. Coming in today, Savage. There's no angle to deal with. Savage skips his way to 45. The drop punt was left off the boots, and it hasn't scored either. So Hawthorn's last 2 shots at goal have missed way right and way left, and they're down by 9.
The bearded Bashahuli to kick in for the Tigers. And he goes to Deledio. Dangerous! And Savage is going to get another chance. He chipped in front of Deledio. And he's only 30 to 35 metres out from goal.
A big error. I mean, Hawthorn are a great team at squeezing you inside your own defensive 50, so it was always going to be the great test of Richmond. They've done quite well up to now. But this is a major turnover. This is worth more than the 6 points. This can swing momentum, this type of turnover, if the goal can be kicked.
Hopefully he's got short-term memory loss. He doesn't want to remember the last kick only a minute ago. Savage has given it another hook. This time he scores though. But gee whiz, only just.
Well, he was closer, Drew.
Yeah, but they should have been 2 goals, and it's lucky to be 1 point.
Here he goes again, the big fella.
Griffiths has given it the full work right to the middle of the G. Revolt taps it down to Tuck. They do get it forward to the middle. The Hawks have numbers, so King's got to go, and he did brilliantly. No, he didn't. He gave away the free kick, edging out Guerra, and he's given up 50 metres. Well, that's all on a knife's edge.
Geez, it'll put Guerra in range too, I think.
Yeah. That's 2 bad mistakes in a row. One from Bashahuli, and then one from their other senior players in Jake King. Can't afford that.
Guerra to make him pay for the full 6 points. From centre half forward.
But he's giving it to Jake.
He doesn't take the shot. Instead, he tries to angle out the kick. Whitecross is marked. He got clobbered as well. But he will rise to take the shots.
That is unforgivable when you had a set shot from 50, and you let a bloke on his own inside 50 with about 15 blokes back in that area, and they find a space. I don't believe that. That is just poor. That's 3 mistakes in a row.
That's right, and that's Richmond's greatest test. Can they sustain the pressure on Hawthorn? Because as soon as you let it go, they will make you pay on the scoreboard.
It should have been a 50-metre penalty too. Whitecross from 35 out. He can't break the seal either. They cannot buy a goal right now, the Hawks. He misses to the right. They're down by 7. 23 and a half play.
Chris is right. Hawthorn have got another gear. I'm not certain Richmond do have. And once you drop off that effort and that energy they've got around the middle of the ball now, the Hawks will take over.
This time Newman goes straight up the centre of the ground. Deledio in front. Works it down to Edwards, who finds a bit of space and kicks to Nahas, who breaks and marks at half forward. He's got Martin. But he goes squarer, and Jake King's got it this time right in front. 35 out.
I think we're seeing why long kicking has come back into AFL football, that once you kick over a zone and Hawthorn take you on more than anyone and press everyone up, many times today Richmond have gone over the top. Once they've broken through, they've had a number of different options, and it's been significant in the context of this game.
Come on, Jake. This is the goal that you thought you might have had a minute or 2 ago. Right in front. He'll be kicking from about 40 at the city end. Never in doubt. The 2 little blokes combined, Nahas and King. And the Tigers 3-4 to 1-3.
Well, Hawthorn are going to have to make an adjustment. And great teams are able to adapt to the environment. One thing we've seen from Richmond all day thus far is long kicking out of defence and also attacking the teeth of goal. We've seen the spare player for Hawthorn drop off closer towards Jack Riewoldt, closer to the teeth of goal to give some protection, which allows Richmond to run the ball up a little bit deeper. But the Hawthorn defenders zoning off far too much on kick-ins, and once the ball's won in their defensive midfield, Richmond, they've got so many options unmarked. So Hawthorn need to tighten up now.
It's Richmond by 13 after Hawthorn had 4 shots at goal and got only 2 behinds from it all. Vickery's dragged off it in the middle and Roughhead, the opposing ruckman, got hold of it. Mitchell had a fumble. Delidio didn't. He released Tuck. Now to Grigg. Hand pass under pressure. Vickery knocked it on and got whacked high. Ellis puts it to Foley. It is going to come back, so Richmond can take the free kick that was well earned by Vickery. Couple of steps forward to the middle. He doesn't hesitate. He kicks for Riewoldt. Schoenmakers is with him. Riewoldt took it on the bounce. Hand passed it away. Came inboard from Ellis. King got taken high. And he'll be taking a second shot at goal in a minute.
Gee, Tyrone Vicky was good in the middle of the ground there. He's knocked early and then he backed up and went again and knocked it on. He's shown his body in and he's been terrific in that area. And as a second ruckman, he's spectacular.
Jay King has got that little knee drop too, hasn't he? He can feel you coming at him, and he just drops his knee and around the neck.
Lowered the centre of gravity, and Mitchell got him across the shoulder. So this is a far more severe angle for Jake King. He's angled out to the left. From 40 metres out, his kick is beautiful. And Jake King strikes twice, and the Tigers have opened up a 19-point lead. 4-4 to 1-3, 27 coming up on the clock.
Super start by the Tigers, absolutely super. They challenged early and then they were challenged back. They were pushed back. They had 3 or 4 shots at goal, the Hawks. And you know what happens when you don't put them through? You pay. And if they had 3 or 4 in a row. Whitecross was one. I think Savage was the other. Had 2 in a row. And I think Buddy had one. That's 4 that they missed, and I think they were comfortably easy. But all of a sudden it's gone bang, bang, 2 easy ones, and both to Jakey King. But set up perfectly in the middle of the ground by the young ruckman and the young centre forward in Tyrone Vickery.
Back in the middle, and here we go. Burgoyne out of the middle for the Hawks. At ground level, Mitchell, been pretty quiet actually. He gets the ball back. And the kick inside the 50 for Hawthorn. A little hand pass backwards by Griffiths. And gee whiz, Morris is taken into the fence. And get a throw in on the 50. Hawthorn in attack.
And took no offence to it either, Drew.
No. Here's a throw in. Comes up a bit short. Favours Marriage, who wins the hit out clearly for the Tigers. But a shark by Sewell. His hand pass back into a pack. That wasn't good for the side. Now it's a scrap at ground level. Cochin. Kick partly smothered, I think, by his teammate Tuck. He's pushed in the back. No free kick. Taken by Burgoyne for the Hawks. Just throws it on his boot. Oh, gee whiz. Conker drops a mark he should have swallowed, but he recovers well at ground level and steers a good pass. The mark taken by Ellis at centre half back for the Tigers. Across the ground he goes. And D's kick to the middle of the ground is a stray. Birchall dives in and takes the mark.
Birchall rises without any overt urgency. Kicks across the set of circles for Guerra. Seconds are against them here. Dinks it forward to the middle for Roughhead. They need one good kick inside the 50 and a quick mark. High ball. Shields is the target. The siren beats the play. And the Tigers have clearly had the better of the opening term. A bit of a fracas threatens in the aftermath of it. Marich and Franklin exchanging unpleasantries and forearms to the chests. But they will break in separate angles to head to the huddles. 4-4-28 Richmond, Hawthorn 1-3-9. So the challenge is thrown down. 2 for King, 1 for Martin and Riewoldt. And Hawthorn's lone goal kicker is Bruce.
Well, we've seen Marriott come on as a player, but I'm not sure that was the right time to have a crack at Buddy Franklin. They've got the ascendancy on the board, so don't fire up their very best player. So there's a little bit of lack of experience there. As I said before, I think this game is set up on Hawthorn's terms in terms of the overlap players in the back half, but the intensity is all about Richmond. What I've liked about Richmond today is not only winning the contested ball, but their ball movement has been long and direct out of the deep 50 area. And also, once they get the ball over the centre line, they do kick the ball long to the teeth of goal, and that gives them a chance to mark the ball, get a free kick, or bring in the smaller players to crumb and get shots off a goal. And we have a significant lead to Richmond. I know Hawthorn missed a few shots at goal, but Nahas should have kicked 2 also down the other end, and that was a direct result of crumbing play. They've been fantastic, Richmond. They've certainly been up and about. They know they're a chance now. When you put plans in place as the hunter, and Richmond are hunting down Hawthorn, one of the premiership players today, when you get off to a good start, the confidence amongst your younger players that the plans you've put in place are working, that the holes in Hawthorn's game that the coaches pointed out are starting to be exploited, that you know you're going to get certain aspects of the game on your terms, all of a sudden it can give you the shot in the arm you need. Now Hawthorn, the ball's back in their court now. They're going to have to get off to a good start in this quarter. They're going to have to get some scoreboard pressure back on Richmond, or this thing could start to run away. But at the moment, it is the perfect start to the Richmond Football Club.
It's Richmond by 19 points at quarter time.
Like disbelief, hands on hips. I've just seen Ty Vickery just poking at his ribs a bit as he came to the bench, so keep an eye out for that. But it should be a good one in the second half as the clouds are very dark overhead, so big score is a big lead at the moment.
Start of the second term. Lewis wins the first takeaway. Kicked it up to Franklin. Gave it off to Rioli, who sidestepped clear to get a kick away and hit the post. Gee, that was a good kick.
It was a
off
great
half
kick.
A step. Set it high on its way and it threatened the whole way. They're underway on the Gold Coast. The Suns 2-2-14 leading Port 2 behind.
Hawthorn have gone man on man at kick-ins now. No more getting exploited.
Well, that's what they had to do.
Hooley out of defence for the Tigers. It's very dark now at the MCG. They work in close quarters. Hurried kick out of there by Suckling. Comes to Mitchell, who's not having his best day so far. And here are the Tigers. Rance has it at centre half back. Sweeps the hand pass across to Morris. He gets some good run from his skipper. Newman takes it into Cochin, who's bowled over in Sewell's tackle. Play on, says the umpire. This will be a ball up just outside the 50 with Hawthorn in attack. The Tigers 4-4-28 lead the Hawks 1 goal 4-10. Opening couple of minutes of the second quarter. Here's the bounce. Actually, Lewis for Hawthorn wins it down to Mitchell. Hand pass to Young, who can kick it a mile off the left. He goes from 55. That is brilliant. Fantastic goal. Clinton Young for the Hawks gets their second. They're 2-4, trailing the Tigers 4-4.
Well, Hawthorn have won the last 2 clearances. They won the centre bounce with Lewis going in there. They just won the ball up, and it makes all the difference in the world. They've gone one-on-one around the ground. Now, the significant thing about going one-on-one is you can work out who's not winning contested possession and who is. But the other significant thing is it puts a lot more pressure on your disposal because you're going to have less options, and you would think that would work on Hawthorn's favour. But the main thing for Hawthorn is we've seen a real attack on the ball, and they've won the next 2 clearances, the sign of a top team.
Chris Connolly on grandstand AFL. The Tigers by 12 points at the bounce. Marich and Hale are in. I thought Hale kept Marich away from that. Umpire pointed the wrong way. It is Marich's free kick. Hand pass to Delidio, who goes dashing past. He blasts it long to full forward. Revolt got himself clear. Probably should have marked on the follow-up. Martin got hold of it, but he coughed it up with a poor hand pass.
Ooh.
Gillum put it out in front of Young, who got his way through some heavy traffic. His kick slewed away, but it worked for Lewis. Hand pass to Smith, who looks to provide the dash, but he's held up by Jackson. They got him cold. They stripped him of the footy. Jackson bunts it out toward the boundary. Foley gets in there to help. Over the top to Martin. Great resilience from the Tigers. Hand pass now to Morris. He darts one way then the other. He's still going. A second bounce. Morris outside of the boot. That is magnificent. What a way to kick your first goal in the AFL. He showed them here, he showed them there, and he was still going at the top of the square. Tigers by 18, 5-4 to 2-4.
That's called taking them on. Taking them on with real power and guts, and sometimes it takes plenty to do that. And good run from young Morris as a back pocket player. Most defenders go, how good is it to kick a goal? But to kick a goal like that, That is one of the best you'll ever see. That was spectacular. And young Morris would be very proud. And it was a good answer to what happened before, because the Hawks got back in. They won a couple of clearances. They stopped their kick out, which has always troubled them in the first quarter. And now, all of a sudden, they reply straight away. It's exactly what you need. That's what good sides do.
Oh, they're even applauding the replay. And old Morris will be pretty proud as well. Kevin Morris, his father.
He never kicked one like that.
Basher Hooley bursts out of the middle and kicks the Tigers and onto the chest of Revolt, right in front, 40 metres from goal.
Good play, Jack. Get in front, because you just never know when the ball's going to come in. The Tigers forwards should do that. The size of them, they're huge, and they should demand the ball that way, and the people should demand them to be in front, their own players. Well done, Jack.
He kicked a goal in the first quarter. He's one ahead of Buddy Franklin at the moment. This to go 2 ahead. At the punt road end. He should be kicking this. Revolt drop punt. He has kicked it. The Tigers are on a march. 6-4 to 2-4.
Look, Jack Riewoldt is contesting a lot of long kicks inside forward 50. And that ends up a contested mark and a great finish at an important time of the game. But I think we shouldn't measure Jack Riewoldt of old to now, because he's playing a real team game. The ball's coming in deep into the forward line, and his job is to force a contest, catch what he can, but make sure the ball comes to ground. We can see the structure now. Riewoldt's actually come out. They've repositioned, restructured their forward line, and I think that's fantastic for Richmond. And, terrific team goal by Jack Riewoldt.
Narrowly Meadows.
Yeah, the fans are getting very excited here, that's for sure. The best bit about that Morris goal is that he's up against Rioli. Every time Rioli comes off, which he is at the moment, Morris follows him, and that's the best bit.
Hale to Mitchell out of the middle. It just cleared Franklin, who was dragged underneath. The tremendous tackling done by Savage, and Brewster's kicked the goal. His second, sheer muscle from the Hawks. They answer. It's 6-4 to 3-4.
They're still 18 points behind. That was a terrific goal. Just pressure. Just enormous pressure in defence. You just keep coming at them. Newman took it a bit easy. Had the ball. I thought he had 3 or 4 metres, and he thought he had 5 or 6. And all of a sudden he was just crushed in the weight of Brewster and a few others coming at it. It was actually, I think it was young Savage who got him hard and hit him perfectly, charged at him. That's what the Hawks have come out a little bit different in the second quarter. They are hard at it, but they've still only 2 goals each. The Tigers are 18 points in front, and they look very, very good.
It makes sense, doesn't it? Just get the ball into your forward lines, because the weaknesses in both teams is the defence.
At the bounce, Tuck Robes, hand pass to Cochin, long kick into the Tigers forward line. The ball pitches, Schoenmaker's first there, runs it over the boundary line. Yes,
good
deliberately.
Good decision.
Well, he was under some sort of pressure from Revolt, but
not much.
Jack was about a good 3 paces behind him, and he took the easy option and has got knocked off by the umpire. So Revolt, with his ankles in the gutter, he'll be kicking from about 45 metres for his third.
Do you think those feral Tiger supporters out there on the half-forward flank got the decision over the line?
Yes, had a bit to do with it. Here's Jack, a straight drop punt. And missing to the near side and through for a minor score. Revolt, 2 goals, 1 today. It's his 99th game. Tigers 6-5 to 3 goals 4.
Franklin had an awkward landing on the previous 4A forward for the Hawks, and he's a little concerned. The medical staff have sort of been out and back. Guerra on the long kick into the square, and it's marked by Hale. They break forward, and Franklin's moving freely as he raced down the field. Hale used it as a square ball instead, though, to Birchall. Birchall will flip the hand pass back into Stratton, who hooks his kick out to the left for Suckling. Now, Suckling's got a bit of space on the southern wing. He had a run, a bounce, and fit it wider still to Schoenmakers. Now inside the 50, Franklin waits. He's outmarked by Evan Marriage, who glided in ever so gracefully to steal it.
Oh, what a season Marriage is playing. Goes the short pass, and Tuck has taken the mark. He goes for some distance. Revolt, 1 out with Schoenmakers on the wing. No mark. It bounds off, comes to Edwards. Hand pass to Cochin. He centres the ball off the side of the boot, though, and Bruce takes the mark for the Hawks. He gets the hand pass away. Shield, the pass. Franklin, no mark. Good spoil put on him by Rance. Rance is still in this contest. Now he goes to ground. Now he gets some support. And it is taken by Ellis. Well played. Up to Nahas, who took him on. Caught by Stratton. The ball spills free. Grabbed by Ellis of Richmond. He loses it in the tackle. That's holding the ball. Not a disposal by foot or by hand. Free kick goes to Hawthorn near centre wing.
Smith used as a hand pass to Sewell, lobbed it up to full forward. Hale's gone back, and he gave away a free kick before he marks. He had hold of Griffiths in the estimation of the umpire, who was just 2 steps away from them, side by side. Well, he's seen something I didn't see, but he was much better placed. Griffiths kicks across the face of goal to Rance. The outbound kick to half-back. Hooley's chasing the bouncing ball, and it sits nicely for him. Down the line he goes to King. Had a step of space on Gibson. Tried to bounce off, but he went to ground as he did so. So Jake King rises 2 kicks out from goal. He uses it out into the pocket. It didn't really favour the forwards, and off hands Schoenmakers and Stratton conspire to get it out of play.
It was a poor kick of Jake King's. He had plenty of options in the midfield to short pass into.
Franklin has gone to the bench for the Hawks, and narrowly the rain's coming for you.
Yes, despite Jared's assurances, it is starting to rain.
Marriage wins the hit out. Oh, Schoenmakers gets a clip round the ears, and there's no whistle from the umpire, and he's going to call for a ball up. Well, let's hope it's nothing like yesterday, narrowly.
Yeah, let's hope not. I think Buddy was a little bit scared of the rain. That's why he's come off, because none of the medical staff have gone to him, that's for sure.
Cleared by Jordan Lewis. Mark dropped by D and taken all the way to the boundary line by Bruce. He nearly socked that out of bounds on the full. It's bounced out and we'll get a throw in. Richmond taking it up to, would you believe, the premiership favourites Hawthorn. It's 6-5 to 3 goals 4.
On the throw into play. Marriage controlling the front, but Mitchell's able to get hold of it, win the clearance up to halfway. Hale couldn't mark, but the Hawks have numbers at it. The hand pass came out to the side for Suckling. He works it forward now. White cross on the long kick in. Rioli's ghosting at the back. Knocked it to his own advantage. Socket didn't get it there. Morris stayed with him every step of the way. And the pressure just a little too much to create the goal.
He's
They're
so
down
hard.
by 18.
He's so hard to defend, Cyril Rioli, because you don't know what he's going to do. He does things other players don't do.
Well, when Buddy came off, Rioli came on. Not a bad replacement. He's virtually playing at full forward. Here come the Hawks again. White cross, the hand pass back to Sewell. He pops it up high. Rioli, can he take another mark of the year this time? It's punched away by Newman. It comes to the front. Hand pass goes back. Suckling from 50 metres goes whack and is out of bounds on the full, missing to the left-hand side.
You don't see 3 out in the full kicks at goal in a quarter and a half too often.
No, you don't.
Geez, he hit that well from 50 on the turn.
Grigg on the restarts. He goes the long route out of defence. That's not going to come off, though, because Hawthorn had massed numbers at it. And it's Stratton who's taking the mark.
You know what? I had a drive 250 one day. It went into the trees.
White Cross's kick was poor, and Cochin cut it off. He gave it to Newman. They're breaking down the field. Terrific shepherd from Marriage, and the skipper's got right of way. He'll carry it all the way and run it home from behind. It hit the inside of the goalpost. It was all but there for Chris Newman. Not to be. The Tigers by 19.
Well, he thought if Morris can kick a goal, I can kick one too. And the kick-in has gone out of bounds without being touched. And Revolt will take the free kick here for the Tigers. Pretty dark. The rain not heavy yet. He centres the ball. It's a poor old kick. He was looking for Marriage and it's chopped off by Shield.
They've had such success about kicking to the top of the square, a dangerous position against the Hawthorn side, and they chip past like that. It's ridiculous.
So the kick by Shield up towards the wing on the Great Southern stand side. A huge leap. Couldn't drag down the mark. Griffiths comes to the front. Grigg over it. Ball spills to Martin. Gouges out a hand pass to Foley. Foley's kick inside the 50. A pack gathers, there's no mark. It's tapped in cleverly to Nahas. He runs out towards the pocket, hooks it back to the goal square. Edwards is there, but a punch away by Guerra. He's decked Edwards, and this will be a free kick.
You dummy. That is as dumb as they come.
That's amazing. He had rushed it behind Guerra, and for some reason, he had some angst with Edwards, and he floored him right in the goal square.
Well, Leopards don't change their spots, and that's why this guy's been at 3 different clubs, and he's got to get reeled back in because he's now a leader in this team with his age.
Edwards kicks the goal. The Tigers 7. 7-7 to 3 goals 5.
Well, the Tigers are now starting to take some control. They're starting to push the ball in. When you push the ball in straight to the goal square and you put some pressure on the defence, you can see what happens. Guerra is as dumb as they come. Just pushed him over in the goal square. I mean, that is just stupid. You can't afford to make mistakes. Now, you are 4 goals behind. 4 goals 2 behind at this stage. It was 26 points or something like that where they're behind. And they challenged them, the Hawks. They came back and they actually given their best. Not good enough, my boys. So they got a real hard task on their hands to try and get over the top of the Tigers today.
On the Gold Coast, it's the Suns 2-5, the Power 2-3 late in the opening term. Richmond by 26 points as far as it has been so far. Tuck uses a hand pass to Delidio, got worried off his kick by Lewis and it fell for Burgoyne. Back to Lewis, kick to an open goal front. Newman scurrying back. Franklin clobbered him as they were heading back. He took the mark regardless. And Chris Newman on the last line of defence. Nerily Meadows.
Savage has just come off for Hawthorn. He's getting some work done on his right hamstring. He looks a little sore. Buddy Franklin has just gone back out there after hurting that ankle, but he looks fine at the moment. And, of course, Rance went straight back out there with him. And the rain is starting to pour. It is cold.
And Whitecross has a ping for goal for the Hawks from just outside the 50. He misses to the right-hand side. Gee, they have had a few chances. Whitecross has kicked 2 behinds. Rioli has kicked 2 behinds. Savage has kicked a behind and 1 out of bounds on the full. Franklin's kicked 1 out of bounds on the full. The rain gets heavier. Welcome to Victoria Nerily. It's 7-7 to 3 goals 6. And Marriage stands tall, takes the mark, gets the hand pass away to Ellis, who kicks the ball over the wing for Nahas. A sprint on for the ball, but he runs out of room and is belted into the interchange dugout. And we'll have a throw in right below us.
The defence there shown by Hawthorn was really poor. They were in the cross of a man-on-man end zone situation. They really were all over the shop with their defence.
It's a good lead with the weather closing in like this. 25 points from the stoppage. Lewis gets hold of it for the Hawks. Hand pass to Burgoyne. He's going to bang it up the half forward and hope for the best. It slews away from Franklin and Rance. Coming the other way was Newman to shovel it out toward the boundary. He did a good job to get it there. It'll be thrown in 50 from the Hawthorn goal.
But he's had 2 kicks, 2 hand passes, no goals.
At the throw-in, Roughhead didn't get there, so Marich was able to knock it down unimpeded to Delidio. Off to Martin, now to Grigg, back to Delidio, who was mown down. Knocked off the footy by Bruce. Comes the way of Roughhead. He opens play up to Suckling. Has a look inside the 50. It's target practice. Gibson's coming from a long way back. It sits out in front of him and against the boundary. And King sees him over said line to be thrown in.
This is a good test for Hawthorn because this is what they're going to face come finals time. Man-on-man contest all over the ground. Conditions like this sometimes out in the open. This is going to be a really good test to see how good they really are.
Marriage in ruck. Who's going to get it? I think that's Cochin ducking his head, caught by Roughhead, and the umpire will ball it up. This is winter night footy at 25 to 3 in the afternoon. The lights are on. It's raining. Pitch dark without the lights. The umpire's not going to bounce it. He throws it in the air. Jordan Lewis, third man up. Knocks it towards the boundary line. Mitchell first there. But his hand pass is blocked. That was Tuck throwing himself at it.
I always thought this situation was the greatest challenge for Richmond, to move the ball from their defensive 50 to their own forward 50. And, in these conditions, it's going to be a real test.
At the throw-in, knocked down the way of Mitchell, slung round in a tackle, lost the footy. Marich in the pack, wedged out a kick to clear the defensive area. Stratton tried to bang it back inside and Edwards repelled. He's knocked it out near King, who couldn't get hold of it with Revolt. Gibson was able to bring it away and the Hawks up to the 50. Mitchell on the turn, he's kicking for Franklin. Rance had hold of him this time. And Buddy will get himself into the play with a free kick near full forwards.
You always wonder, Mark, why the ball isn't moved directly, long and direct to Buddy Franklin. He's not going to be outmarked, and the odds are he's going to mark it or get a free kick, as we just saw.
Close in, tight angle. Lands Franklin for his first. No. He's thrashed it into the post and sent it rocking to and fro. They're down by 24 points.
Couldn't agree more, Chris. I tell you, this has been happening since he got here. It's the style of play. style of players to chip around and find an easy. They should just bang in. They've got the best forward line going around. They just don't use it enough.
Newman to kick in. They've had some mighty long kicks today, and this is no exception. He's kicked that 65 metres. Punched by Edwards away from Mitchell. Mitchell first there. Turns away from goal. Hand pass to Schoenmakers. Out on the Great Southern Stand wing. Jack's got him. Just gets the hand pass away, Schoenmakers. But it's ineffective. Taken by Edwards for the Tigers. He puts the hand pass out in front. Tuck. The hand pass to Martin. Here come Richmond. Cochin there, one out. Oh, what a mark! Brilliant! A diving chest mark right in front.
What a star he is, this kid. You just wondered how they were going to transition the ball from the back half to the front half. Well, Chris, they bang it long and fight, and that's all they're doing in the wet weather, and that's how you play wet weather football.
Phenomenal mark by Trent Cochin. He should cap it off with a goal, and he does. 8-7-55 to 3-7-25.
And they're fourth for the quarter. Spectacular mark by Cochin. You know, that reminded me of the Peter Hudson days of marking. The ball comes up, you don't know how he marked it, and he just did. And it was just, look, he is a star, this kid. He makes things look very easy that are so difficult you cannot believe. But the defensive work of the Tigers has been spectacular. They've actually banged it long. They've worked hard. Their midfield fight hard. Jack was up around the wing. I love that. Get out of the square. It doesn't matter where you go. And you can still win the ball and help your side. It's not about actually who kicks the goals. It's about how many you kick. And Cochin was at full forward this time. He was a midfielder and took a super mark and just banged it through. Well done.
Thrown up in the middle. Marich waited for Roughhead to leap and then tapped it down, but Mitchell got hold of it. The kick to half forwards marked by Young, who's standing in front. He goes to full forward. Franklin and Rance both went to ground. Rance rose. He probably should have marked in the end, but he's done enough to get it to Newman. Running now to the back pocket. Hand pass to Delidio. Now to Morris. The chip kick over the top of Tuck. It skids across the turf. Tuck gets there to tow it on down the line. Vickery comes one way, Edwards the other. Edwards got hold of it. Hand pass near Vickery, but the Hawks defenders arrive and they push it clear and out of play on the southern wing. On the Gold Coast Power, 4-4. Suns 2-5. Port Adelaide by 11 points late in the first.
In quite heavy rain at the MCG. Vickery wins the hit out. Cochin roves and soccers the ball towards half forward. Ball batted on by Edwards, but chopped off by the Hawks. And the kick towards the wing is out of bounds on the full, is it? No. Bounced out. We'll have a throw in.
Now, Drew, there is a phenomenon in AFL football, the 5-goal rule. Now, usually the team in front by 5 goals can get a little bit complacent, and the team that's behind thinks the game is on the line now. So it'll be very interesting the next 5 minutes.
Mitchell roves the hit out and just gets a kick away under pressure. Hooley's run down from behind. Is he holding it? Well, he gets away with it. Delidio receives the hand pass from Conker, and here come the Tigers down the Great Southern Stand side. Little one over the top from Tuck. Set it up, and Burgoyne was good enough to get in front and punch out of bounds.
They are folding back deep, the midfield and halfbacks for Hawthorn, so it's going to be difficult to score for Richmond.
At the throw in, Vickery against Roughhead. Vickery gets his hand to it. Tuck onto the clearance. Hand pass to Grigg. Up to half forward. Burgoyne went back with the flight. Dropped the mark. Has time to get it, but he's under pressure. Gave it off to Stratton. Wide to Whitecross. Kicked in a hurry for distance. They'll contest out on the wing, and Hawley had it well covered. Protected the drop zone well, and the Tigers are on the spread. They're all pushing up from defence. Newman uses it over the top now. Ellis has got to get away from Rioli, and he did. He'll kick the full forward. Didn't favour Marich. It favoured the defenders. There was a bit too much on it. And Gillum unopposed on the last line.
He goes for the short pass up to Burgoyne. Hawks have got to do a bit to win this game. Margin 30 points in favour of the Tigers. 22.5 gone in the second quarter. Up towards centre wing. Tuck is there. Hand pass into Foley. He draws a man and finds Delidio. He draws a man, but his hand pass goes astray. Taken by D. Off the left. He kicks towards full forward. Marich in front. No mark. Spills to Edwards, who snaps and bounces it through for a behind. He was in front about 30 out. Didn't have time to take aim. And that is a behind. 1-1 to Shane Edwards. And it's 8-8 to 3-7.
Where to kick in. Let's look at the spread. Gibson was a short option. He's gone longer to Hale. Vickery's got to make a contest against him. He made the spoil from behind. Cochin gets in there, but he's lost the hand pass to Smith. The Hawks to break from the wing. Hand pass to Lewis, back in front of Smith, just a little too far out of his grasp. The idea was right. If he'd plucked it, they were away. The execution just failed. It's out of bounds. 24 minutes coming up on the clock in this second term. Spiked out of the ruck contest the Tigers' way by Rats. Gathered though for the Hawks by Birchall. Hand pass from Franklin was a weary old ball, and Gibson has paid a heavy price. They all came at him. He was able to release it. Was buried underfoot for a short time. Shields' kick is smothered on the way out. Richmond with numbers in the midfield. Newman knocked it to Grigg, back to Newman, up to Rance, ran into two tacklers, still released it. Martin toes it forward, now to Edwards, over the top to Jackson. They've nutted it out really well. Jackson with the flying shot, booted it out on the full. Didn't have the poise when balance was required.
Richmond just get more numbers around the ball, and you would think the conditions are going to suit Richmond's style of play. Long and direct to the goal face. They are getting numbers around the ball, spreading from stoppages. The real chance for a big breakout win for the Richmond Football Club.
Definitely. Schoenmakers with the free kick, with plenty of distance. It flips off the fingernails and gets to the back of the pack. Socked forward by Savage for the Hawks. They're already at half forward. Morris gets there for Richmond and gets out a little hand pass. Foley runs out of room. It's out of bounds. That'll do the Tigers at that stage of proceedings. And a throw in, Great Southern stand side. A brighter looking sky now, but still just a light drizzle. And the lights on at the MCG. Marich against Hale. Collision here between Cochin and Mitchell. There's a kick in danger. Free kick Richmond's way. Advantage taken by Martin. He kicks long inside the 50. It gets through the pack. Taken by Edwards. Hand pass over his head looking for Revolt. He loses it in the tackle. Comes back to Edwards. Out wide near the boundary line. Schoenmakers has the kick smothered by Edwards. That was terrific play. He was just about on his knees when he made that smother, and the ball's out of play.
It was his third effort at that stage, Drew, and he's entitled to be.
They're doing everything right. Richmond's thrown in inside the 50. Mitchell received the tap though, and he kicks in a hurry out of the defensive area. It bounces around the southern wing and probably goes over with the assistance of Rioli. So still the best part of 5 minutes to play in the opening half. A half dominated by the Tigers. Marich and Hale form up. Just about knocked it into each other's hands. Kick from Shields, bounced off a few. Hacked out of midair forward by Suckling. It fell the way of Rioli, who used some good body to get hold of it. Out in front of Bruce. Franklin given right away in the pocket. He curls it at goal and runs it across the face. And in keeping with so much of Hawthorn's work, it's just that little bit off. 3-7 against 8-8.
He has so many methods of scoring, Franklin. He came up to the clearance and bolted forward and completely lost Rance for speed.
Short kick in finds Griffiths, and he kicks to Hooley, who marks still inside defensive 50. Franklin still goalless, 2 behinds and 1 out of bounds. Kick by Hooley off the left, short of the wing. Marich in front, good spoil by Hale. Comes down to the front. Gathered by Smith. Hand pass away to Gillum, who dodges him to Whitecross, and he puts a high ball to centre half forward. There's no mark, spills off hands to Newman. Newman kicks to open country out near the wing, southern stand side. Revolt playing up the ground. First there, but under pressure. Works it back to Grigg. Grigg a little left footer into Jackson. Inside the square. Jackson with distance. Here's a go for the Tigers. Delidio! Yes! No! Plays on quickly with a hand pass. It comes to nothing. Cleared by Mitchell for the Hawks.
Young's chasing a ball out against the boundary, which he fumbles over the line. And Revolt in to tell him all about it.
As a rule, Richmond have been competing against an extra defender, but on that occasion, it was a one-on-one. It was a real missed opportunity for the Tigers.
Richmond by 5 goals. Steady rain at the MCG. Throw-in was a bit short. Ruckman didn't make a lot of it. Mitchell in the pack, dragged out of Chief through that, and the umpire did see it. So Jack Revolt with the free kick, 2 kicks out from goal. Hawks have got an extra number back. Vickery leads into the pocket. Martin wants it deep in the square. The kick is for Vickery. He'll have 2 pitted against him. Not a great chance to mark. Edwards fires out the hand pass to Cochin, lightning onto the boot, but he gave it up. Birchall with the clearing kick for the Hawks. Next contest is essential at half-back. Richmond again with numbers at it. Newman uses Griffiths. Now to Grigg. Wide with a hand pass to Rance. He fumbled. Hand pass to Delidio, who's being pursued, and he's dragged off it by Bruce. Burgoyne works it to Young. His hand pass wide of the pack is out of play.
Well, it's just an arm wrestle at the moment in between the 250s.
Tigers by 30 points. 8-8 to 3 goals 8. At the throw in, Vickery. Jackson has a chance. Gets a 50-50 with his opponent, and the umpire comes in to bounce. As we approach half-time, 29 minutes played in the second quarter. Thrown up by the umpire. Grigg wins the hit out. Well taken by Delidio, but his kick is smothered. Young gets the hand pass away. Here was the smotherer. To Guerra, to Smith. Across the half-back lane. Danger! Right, Edwards has had a fantastic quarter. He marks and puts it out in front of Nahas, running out of room in the forward pocket. He paddles the ball back in, taken by Martin. He hooks it back to the top of the goal square, or back out towards centre half forward. Grigg up, but can't mark. It is a slippery ball. Stratton the hand pass to Young, to Whitecross, working in confined spaces here. Vickery chimes in. Hand pass away to Grigg, outside the 50. Throws her on the boot, forward pocket job. And the ball bounces out of bounds as Jack goes sprawling on the slippery turf. And we get a throw in. Richmond doing most of the attacking and leading by 5 goals.
Deep in the left forward pockets. Vickery to contest with Hale. Came down to the front. Stratton's onto it in defence for the Hawks. Kicks around the wing. Morris and Rioli. Morris made the spoil. Rioli's never out of the play. He's onto the loose footy. Steadies up. Has a look inboard, not a lot for him. Loops the hand pass over the top because Shields made all the running. He stretches out to half forward. Kicks for Franklin in the pocket. 2 against him. Conker didn't impact the contest. It beat Franklin over the boundary though, next to the behind post. And he's been thwarted yet again.
He has been kept very quiet, the Budster.
Well, there's 66 seconds to go, and it's a very important 66 seconds for Richmond.
Chance here for the Hawks at the throw-in. Marriage in front, wins it. Hand pass comes down to Sewell, who gets it on the boot and has a flying hack for goal. Chopped off by Morris for the Tigers. Oh, he finds Griffiths, and his hand passes out to Ellis. And he had to rush it behind because he had a fumble with the slippery cod, and through it's gone for a score to the Hawks, just a behind. It's 3-9, Richmond 8-8.
Hawley's on the kick in. Inside the final minute of the half. Hawley as far as he can, which is not as far as we've seen some of the kicks go this afternoon. King gets hold of it at ground level. Hand pass to Foley. Down the members' wing, a little bit aimless. He would have been happy for it to turn out of bounds. It didn't. Whitecross gets hold of it for the Hawks. Hand pass to Gibson. Up the wing with a kick to Suckling. Inboard comes the kick now for Roughhead. They're against the clock. Roughhead's kick is long to full forward. Bruce flew. Rioli stayed down. He just about missed it. Got it at the last and snapped the goal. So the Hawks steal one back with the siren pending. They're down by 23. 4-9 to 8-8.
Yeah, look, 20 seconds to go, and Richmond have let a goal in. It was a midfield turnover, counter-attack, and for the first time, or one of the first times, Hawthorn went deep into attack, and it was a 1-on-1, 3 against 3, and all of a sudden Rioli stayed down, 3 went up against 2, fell to him, and he kicked a goal. But when you get the ball in 15 metres out from goal, these things tend to happen. I think with the conditions as they are, with the rain coming down, we're going to see a lot of attacking, long kicks attacking into the goal mouth.
Seconds remaining in the first half. At the centre bounce. Forward from Foley. But the mark has been taken by Suckling for the Hawks at half back. Comes out to the broadcast side. Smith gets after it, running out of room and running out of time. He hand passes down the line but gets it over the line, and we get a boundary throw in. And it should just about be all she wrote for the first half. 56 to 33. What a performance so far by the Tigers. But a wasteful Hawthorn. And we saw last night with the Bulldogs, you waste it in front of goal and it can be very costly. It can cost you 4 premiership points. There is the siren for half time. 23-point lead to the Tigers, who've announced themselves, I reckon, a bit here today. Hawthorn, surprisingly, premiership favourites. and they've got a lot of work to do. Tigers 8-8-56, Hawks 4-9-33. For Richmond, Jack Revolt's kicked 2, Jake King's kicked 2, and singles for Martin, Cochin, Edwards and Morris. And for Hawthorn, Brewster's kicked 2 and 1 each to Young and Rioli. And for Buddy Franklin, no goals, 2 behinds and 1 out of bounds.
It's all unfolding on Grandstand AFL here on ABC Local Radio, Radio Australia and Grandstand Digital. On the Gold Coast, it's the Power by 5 points over the Suns, 5-4 to 4-5, and that's 6 minutes into the second term. Thoughts of Chris Connolly and Mark McClure.
Well, it's a great half of footy, I reckon. It's been sensational. We've got a contender who we think is a contender in Hawthorn up against a growing club, a club who wants to be a good side, who wants to play in the finals, and the one who wants to is getting it better. And the first quarter was a very, very good example of how you play football in conditions like this, tough and hard at the ball. They were very strong at their ball ups. And in the second quarter, they were even stronger. I reckon they've even strengthened their lead on the ball ups. And you can put that down to Dustin Martin, and you can put it down to Cochin and Tuck and Edwards and Foley and Delidio, who really worked hard around there. They outnumbered them in those areas. And of course, Ivan Murrich, who's been just spectacular in his work in that area. You can also throw in there Tyrone Vickery at some stages, who's done some work in that stuff. I mean, the rants on Buddy Franklin and Morris on Rioli, we all worry about that. Well, the only one who's got a goal is Rioli. And that was just a little fluke one over the back of the pack. So they've done a super job. We're worried about their defence, the Tigers. Are they weakened because they lost a few players? Well, that's been answered pretty well as well. They've been spectacular because they've been, you know why? They've been helped by the midfield, who have really actually kept the ball inside their 50. Their forwards are working well. I can see them running up towards the wing, Jack Revolt up towards the wing, and that's what you need. Sometimes it doesn't have to be a tall in the forward line who can take a mark, as we saw with Cochin down there who took one. They've been absolutely outstanding in their tackle, their chase on the ball and their effect with each other. They actually are playing like a really good, solid team. And when the rain came down, I reckon they went better. They actually were better at it because Hawthorn is so used to this chip pass game. They can't play the one-on-one where you have to bang it long into the forward line, and I don't understand why, because they've got such outstanding forwards in Franklin, Rioli and Roughhead, and it should be used more often with more space in that area. It's been a really good contest. The contenders don't look anything like it, and you know what? The up-and-comers, they look fantastic, and I really like the Richmond side at this stage. They're 5 goals in front, or no, 4.5 goals in front, or whatever it is, and looking very, very good. Can they hang on? That last goal by Cyril, just 30 seconds before, may cost them a little bit at the end.
Yeah, look, there's no doubt Hawthorn came out in the second quarter with a better attitude to the game. They started to win some contested possessions, win the centre bounces. They played a bit more long and direct, and they manned up with a lot more purpose. In fact, went from their zoning game from kick-outs to a man-on-man situation. The impressive, or arguably the most impressive thing about Richmond today is that they responded to that challenge in the first 10 minutes and got the game back on their terms, and that's as impressive as anything. I mean, it's a lot easier to maintain momentum than to actually get a premiership favourite like Hawthorn and take the momentum away from them. So they've certainly been up and about. There's been missed opportunities in front of goal. Richmond have been very disciplined with the way they want to play the game. They've got to maintain their intensity and work rate around the ball, make sure they get their hands on the ball. They've out-hustled Hawthorn on a lot of occasions, but they've got to make sure that they continue to attack the goal mouth. Now, a little bit stiff in the last 10 minutes of that quarter not to have got some more scoreboard pressure on. And as it has, and I think I said there was 60 seconds to go, it was a very important 60 seconds. Hawthorn grabbed their opportunity, but you know, if Richmond are going to prove themselves today, they're going to have to play out the 4 quarters. You can't go out and play a half a good football and expect to get the respect you're looking for. So far so good for the Tigers. Hawthorn are reshaped, got a great coaching staff, you know, some good leaders in amongst the team, and the challenge will be back at Richmond, and it's going to be an exciting second half.
It is poised. Richmond 8-8-56, Hawthorn 4-9-33 on the...
So they've actually got to stamp that out of their reputation.
The rain has stopped. It's looking a lot brighter, but the lights are still on at the MCG. And we get underway for the second half. The Tigers with a very handy break. It's back in the bullseye. Cochin throws himself at it. Delidio, a little kick, goes about 2 metres. Marriage grabs it. Foley grabs it and goes for a sprint, is hauled down. Gets the hand pass away to Edwards, who was great in the second quarter. A real scrap to start this third. Marriage, a hand pass. Through Tuck it goes. And Conker bursts out of the middle for the Tigers. Kicks to half forward. Marking contest. No mark taken. Guerra came out second best. Takes a while to get up. He's feeling his head. Looks as though he got a knock on the top of his bonce.
That's not a good spot for him, Drew.
I hope it didn't dislodge the hair.
Oh, the low-hanging fruit there. Richmond inside the forward line. Roughhead though, the tap. Lewis's hand pass is almost picked off. In fact, it is. Jackson got it to Delidio. High ball. Rainmaker. It'll land in a pack of 6. Vickery brought it to ground level. Mitchell was trying to ferret something out from underneath that pack. Not to be. Oh, holding the ball paid against. So they're saying Cochin had it and Sewell tackled him. Well, not from where I was looking. Sewell kicks out to half-back for the Hawks to Bruce. Bruce sideways. Franklin's working at half-back. He'll put it down into the left boot, send it all the way to half-forward. Hale stands in front. Good contested mark.
Been good, Hale.
Slips a hand pass to Young instead of going inside. Roughhead and Young in close confines. Now under enormous pressure to Lewis. He gives plenty of ground. The Hawks have still got numbers around it though. Birchall to Gillum. Turns his way out. Gets it to Franklin. Got caught on the wing by Revolt. Still got it off to Birchall. The Tigers tried everything to get it back from them but failed. Long kick. Roughhead. Took the mark. 35 out from goal.
That was a great battle out here on the wing between 5 and 6 of each side, just trying to win the ball back. The Hawks controlled it beautifully, and finally they kick one long inside 50 to their tall forward in Roughhead. Finally.
Just a question of accuracy. Jared Roughhead contemplates the shot from the 50 before making his approach close up. Left foot drop punt is a goal. The Hawks have strung a couple together either side of half-time. And the margin is whittled back to 17. 8-8 to 5-9.
Look, I don't think Richmond have got any defender who can mark Roughhead, Hale and Buddy Franklin if given the opportunity. We saw Hale take a strong contested mark and he's taken a number today. And we're only just after half-time. And Roughhead, it wasn't that it was a terrific mark, but Richmond didn't look like spoiling the ball. And the only way they're going to spoil it is knock his hands, and it's a free kick. So they've got to get the ball in long and direct and give their forwards an opportunity. But having said that, the first 5 minutes of this game, I'm not sure Hawthorn's good enough to beat Richmond's midfield. They've been on top around the clearances.
Bounce back in the middle. Marich wins the hit out. Didn't find a rover. Eventually Jackson off to Delidio. Bursting through the middle. Foley with an aggressive bounce and kicks to full forward. Cochin caught at the back. Gibson did well to get it away from him out of bounds.
A lot of teams play their gun midfielders forward now because they're great clearance and contested ball winners, and that's why Cochin's starting up forward.
Here's the throw in. Marich has worked manfully today. Does palm it down and finds a teammate, but Cochin's buried and the umpire will ball it up. Now you've got 36 players in one half of the ground. I'll make it 35. I reckon Newman's the only one behind the circles. Here's the bounce. Marich again. Hits it away from goal. Delidio is there. Goes to ground. It's taken by Burgoyne. Hand pass away. Kick by Shield is smothered. Franklin working back in defence. He gets there. Gets the hand pass away. And Schoenmakers bumbles the ball up short of the wing. Richmond have it. Sleight of hand, little hand pass comes in, and now Conker takes the mark on the logo. He kicks to centre half forward. It bounces for Jake King, who finds unbelievable space, gets it away to Tuck, who kicks the goal. Shane Tuck. Tigers 9-8-62 to the Hawks 5-9-39.
Yeah, the Hawks made clear it, but they just didn't have the numbers in the defence, in their forward line to be able to get the ball back. It was moved beautifully. They didn't muck around. They didn't chip sideways. They directly pushed it back in there. And all of a sudden, Tuck was on the end of it. Jakey King picked it up and then out to Tuck. And that's sharing the ball with your mates. That's what you do. He had a chance to kick it, but he thought he'd give it to someone else. Terrific play. And they set up was beautiful for the Tigers. And you know what? The Hawks are in a bit of trouble. They don't know where to go with this stuff.
Nerily Meadows on the boundary.
Yeah, Guerra, you spoke about him. He got knocked to the head. He's come off, got some strapping. He's back on, looking very pretty, but you can't complain with some of the Richmond haircuts out there.
Tigers by 23. Ball to be won from the centre stoppage. Sewell did. High ball inside the 50. Rioli edged his man out but didn't take the mark. Griffiths on the way out for the Tigers. They combine well off halfback. Foley's got it. Delivers long to half forward. Revolt got underneath that pack. Vickery couldn't pull it in. Schoenmaker's caught in the tackle. And Suckling is playing for the boundary. And he will get it there. It's half time on the Gold Coast. The Power over the Suns by a point. 7-7 to 7-6. Right half forward for the Tigers. Roughhead got the clear run at it. Down to Mitchell. Bounced it around the members' wing. Cut off by Rance, but his hand pass was smothered by Rioli back over the line.
Nerily.
It's where Cyril Rioli up against Morris. Morris has grown an inch throughout this game. He's giving it to him off the ball, and he's absolutely loving it as this game goes on, and a crowd favourite at the moment.
Marriage down to Deledio at the throw-in centre wing. It comes to Grigg. Foley working in hard. Tuck rather it was, getting a hand pass forward. Here's Guerra with the head bandage, pushing the back. Free kick Guerra against Jake King, who pleads his innocence. How much of his life he's been pleading his innocence. Guerra kicks to the middle of the ground, beautifully delivered, mark taken by Gillum. They've switched the play across to Gibson. Logo Southern stand side. One way, then the other, not sure which way to go. And pretty much an around the corner type kick up to Shields at half forward. He gathers the bouncing ball. Now he tries to centre it for Hale. Griffiths up early and high. No mark. Tackle by Savage. Play on. Hale a hand pass through the pack. Comes to Ellis of Richmond. Hand pass to Conker. Back to Ellis. Defenders have worked well, even though they're a few short in defence. And that's a clever kick, gaining about 40 metres and bouncing out over half-back flank.
The Tiger midfield are just hunting the ball in packs, and you'll see this from this clearance.
Tigers by 23. Hale controlling the ruck on that occasion. Down to Mitchell again. High to half forward. Young flew. Hawley made the spoil. Mitchell cannoned into D. It was Lewis who banged into him. There was a free kick. The advantage paid. Edwards to King. Deep forward, running back with a flight as Revolt needs the ball to sit. It just got a little away from him, and Gibson was able to tidy up for the Hawks. Hand pass to Schoenmakers. Out to Stratton. Looks beyond the defensive area. Brewster's loose on the wing. He has a look forward. They've got numbers streaming everywhere, the Hawks. Hand pass to Smith. Sweeping hand pass to Lewis. Wider still to Savage. He'll kick it out into the pocket. Gee, it's an optimistic kick. The defenders all arrive, and Whitecross is overpowered. Morris takes the mark.
That was a terrible kick by Savage. Absolutely shocking. There was 3 or 4 inside, and he needed to go there.
Morris short up the ground. Ellis takes it, and under pressure takes it over the boundary line. And a throw in. Tackle put on by Franklin. Hands on hips. Here's the throw in. Hawks in attack. Marriage again. Clean possession. Throws it on the boot. Nearly out of bounds on the full. But Franklin backing back takes a mark 49 metres from goal. Centres the ball, but it doesn't reach Rioli, and it's chopped off by Chris Newman, who kicks across the half-back line looking for Deledio. He can't take the mark, but recovers well to beat Young. Gets the hand pass away. Overrun by Hooley. It comes to Martin. He regathers. Somehow gouges out a hand pass. To Grigg. Back to Martin. They're through the middle. Dusty Martin again. The hand pass to Edwards. Brilliant play by the Tigers. Edwards to Deledio. Back to Grigg. Standing start to full forward. Cochin comes from behind. It comes down to Lewis of Hawthorn.
Gets it off to Sewell. He'll kick around the southern wing. White crosses the outrider. Bruce makes the play further down the field. He'll mark it. 2 kick. No, he dropped the mark. He spilt it in front of his eyes, and it trickles away from him out of play. The Tigers fans' day just keeps getting better. Nerily.
Shields limped off just not a long time ago. He's getting some strapping on his right thigh, so he's looking in a bit of pain, but I don't think it's game ending or anything.
Marriage to Deledio, to Jackson, whose kick was smothered in the congestion. It falls the way of Savage, who kicks to full forward. They're all wrestling. Rance grabbed hold of Franklin, I fancy. Hawthorn free kick. The advantage is paid, and Brewster's kicked his third. The Hawks peg it back again to 17 points. 9-8 to 6-9.
Yeah, look, all the signs in general play are in Richmond's favour. They moved the ball forward, just hunting in numbers. There was fumbles here, fumbles there, good pressure from Hawthorn, but sheer numbers moved the ball forward. Then on the counter-attack, Hawthorn, without looking pretty, just got the ball to a one-on-one contest in front of goal, and Buddy Franklin did the job. It was really his goal. Once the ball came up long and high and Rance and him were sitting under it, Rance had no chance and grabbed his jumper. Hawthorn need to continue to put scoreboard pressure on Richmond, and the only way they're going to do it is move the ball in that fashion, which is a little bit different to what we've seen today.
Roughhead in the ruck. Works it down to Sewell. Kick partly smothered. Ruffy follows up. Caught by Foley. Boy and a man's job. And Roughhead is holding the ball. Well done to Foley, who got some help from Deledio, and the free kick actually goes to Deledio. He kicks out towards half forward. Grigg stands his ground and takes a good mark. Gee, a week ago that was 50 metres. Decided a game. Not this time. Kick by Grigg to half forward, and the mark's been taken by Vickery, who's about 70 metres out from goal. He centres the ball into Foley. He's a Tiger, playing for the Tigers.
He's a bloke on the fence. He's a beauty.
They're probably saying the same thing in the coach's box.
Big pack down on the forward pocket. Hard ball to win here. Mitchell does win it. Hand pass to Sewell. His hand pass out, and it comes to Gillum. And they're out now. Lewis has it at halfback flank. A kick inboard, just a little bit too high for Birchall. Gives the Tigers a chance. Grigg, a poor hand pass. But somehow it comes to Nahas. He's bowled over. Rance up in the forward line. Gets it to Hooley. Gets inside the 50 with a hand pass. Good tackle by Jackson. And that will be a ball up, I'm thinking. Yes. 49 metres out from goal. It's a 17-point lead to the Tigers. 9 goals, 8 to 6-9.
The pressure has gone up a notch in the last 5 minutes.
My word, it has. Marich in the ruck, down to Tuck. Hand pass went nowhere, so he went and got it back. Gives it to Grigg, now to Foley, but they've given plenty of ground. Hawley back near the middle. Hand pass to Griffiths. Uses it as a short pass for Edwards.
Been terrific, this bloke.
Edwards, yeah. He's going to go short for Cochin, still outside the 50. There's just a milling pack near the top of the goal square. Cochin is going to give them a chance. Revolt rises. Got it. No, umpire didn't pay it at the second grab. Gillum hand passes away to Young. The Hawks escape one there. Long kick around the wing. It should bounce away from Brewston up for Griffiths. He'll sweep it around for Newman.
And Newman kicks it into the centre square where the mark's taken by Basher Hooley. Bright conditions now at the MCG after rain in the second quarter. The kick by Hooley with distance to half forward. It clears the pack on the bounce to Revolt. His hand pass inboard, no good. Taken by Guerra. Off to Rufford. His hand pass, no good. Jake King chimes in and kicks for goal. He's kicked it. Jakey King. He's got 3. And a couple of mighty mites like King and Edwards and Foley are driving this engine. 10-8 to 6-9.
Yeah, they just keep getting numbers around the ball. They just continue to outnumber the opposition. They're willing to run harder than the opposition. They just absolutely... Jakey King, Gibson was going backwards trying to get that easy handball out to him. Jakey King just ran past him like he was standing still, and he was. An easy goal to them. They just continue to put pressure on. Their pressure up forward today is as good as I've seen any side in the competition.
You know, when that fan yelled out, just get it in there, he was right.
Absolutely.
They were starting to fiddle around with it a bit, Richmond. They went back to their old method, got a goal.
Tigers by 23. Roughhead the tap for the Hawks. Down to Sewell. Turned his way out of trouble, but his kick won't find a teammate. Mark intercepted by Morris, who was pushed over after he completed things. Morris has watched the options dry up. He's going to try to wrong foot Shields on the mark, and he does. Has a bounce. Almost got around Suckling. It was knocked out of his grasp. Marich back near Morris, had to propel himself at it with Rioli coming the other way. Conker puts it back in front of the play, sweeping onto it and getting bowled over is Ellis, and they've lost it at last. The Hawks off halfback. Gibson pursuing it. He threw that in the tackle of Jackson. The Tigers get it to the 50-50 of the boundary.
Without a kick Jared, from the half-back line to the far forward line without one possession. Amazing stuff.
Right half forward for the Tigers. Marich knocked it down underfoot. Rioli, they all got hold of him. He'll have to release the ball, and he does. Still no disposals in any of this. Lewis gets caught with it. I don't know whether he made much of an effort. He's gone. Quite rightly so. Jordan Lewis just flopped onto the footing. And it's Foley's ball.
Coming up for his 20th disposal. Been terrific, Nathan Foley. High ball towards the pocket. Rewalt swamped by about 3 of them. It comes to the front. The hand pass comes through to Edwards, who snaps from out in the pocket and misses to the near side. It is out of bounds on the full. He's kicked the full house. 1 goal, 1 and 1 out of bounds. 10-8-68 to 6-9-45.
They are having a crack, Richmond, moving the ball 60 metres with WWE manoeuvres.
Yes.
But that ball went in long and direct, and Gibson was the extra Hawthorn player, but Richmond still get a kick off at goal. And now they've got another opportunity to jam Hawthorn up. They're playing really good, desperate football.
Guerra with no option but the long kick out of defence. Rance has been able to make the spoil. Vickery got it underfoot, bounces it up near the 50. Birchall came out, towed it off the ground, and it worked for the Hawks. Hailed a rough head to Gibson, fires it wide of the play to Sewell. He had a step of space, and he's tried to lob it up to half forward. Now Richmond have the numbers. They've just got to conspire not to muck it up, and wouldn't you know they've mucked it up. Smith is onto it. He runs it at goal. It's going to turn in. Oh, it's a cruel fake. No, it wasn't. It was a photo finish on the full lunge, but it eluded Newman. And it is a goal for Smith. It's a roller coaster with the Tigers, and it is gearing up. They're up by 17, a goal they shouldn't have conceded. 7-9-51 to 10-8-68.
Yeah, look, I think it was a great call, Jared, that Richmond had the extra player, and they're well positioned as 3 defenders against 2 forwards for Hawthorn, but they collided with one another and they mucked it up. I think mucked it up is a good description. And all of a sudden, this next contest becomes very important.
Bounce back in the middle. And here come the Tigers again. Out towards the wings, taken by Savage. He's dispossessed in a good tackle. Martin grabs it and grabs his own hand pass. Now finds Foley. Off to Cochin. Steers the pass. Nahas has it punched away. Punch goes 25 metres up the ground. A collision. Tuck taken to ground. It spills to Jackson. Outside of the boot. Forward pocket job. Revolt is there. And the bounce out of bounds. And there's a bit going on behind the play. And Stratton is hauled to his feet by a couple of teammates. There's a massive collision there. The tuck.
I think Richmond have won every centre bounce this quarter.
Throw in forward pocket. Tigers in attack. It comes to Nahas. His kick is smothered off the face of Suckling. Back in the pack. Suckling gathers. Somehow gets it to his boot. Doesn't clear the area though. Young taken to ground. And this will be a ball up about 20 metres from goal. Tigers attacking. They're leading by 17 points. 18.5 played third quarter.
20 metres from their goal fronts. Revolt goes third man up. Clever tap to Greg. He got some sort of kick. It was smothered by Suckling, taken by Gibson and hand passed in a hurry to Smith. And he boots it as far as he can. Newman's got to win the contest. He didn't quite. The ball spills to the back. Bruce one way, D the other. D did enough. Newman gave it to Ellis. Now to Hooley. Had a bounce. Ran to 50. Came up short. Gibson is goaltending.
Gibson's kick outside the 50. Whitecross, the ex-Queenslander, takes a good mark over his head. 8:68 to 51. Tigers holding the Hawks at bay. The Hawks haven't led all day. The kick in short to Mitchell. Puts him under a bit of pressure. He couldn't take the mark. He regathers and kicks to half-back flank where Burgoyne juggles and marks. Under pressure here, the Hawks.
Slow movement again.
Well, Sam Mitchell looks at the umpire. That was a free kick. He had his arms interfered with.
Short to Whitecross, who takes a mark. Now long to half forward. Marriage. There might have been interference before the ball arrived, but the mark is paid to Marriage. Steers the pass to Tuck, centre wing. Hand pass off. Griffiths and eventually Rance. Gee, they're sharing it around these defenders. Ball comes back to Ellis. Oh, he draws a man and then delivers a weak hand pass over the top. Gives Smith a chance. There was a clash of bodies there, and a Hawk is down, hurt, hardly moved. Richmond have the ball. Rance, kick to half forward. Good body work by Guerra. He gets rid of Vickery. Guerra gathers and centres the ball where Gibson takes the mark just ahead of fullback.
He touches it down on the ground.
Nowhere to go.
No, reaching the defensive 50. He waited as long as he could, and Stratton was just able to get off Morris to take the mark. Brewster's pulled himself together after the friendly fire. Stratton veering ball inboard, marked by Lewis.
It's an important time for the Tigers. They've got to hold up. They just can't go in and release one goal.
Lewis a long way back to Guerra. He tried to nut it out in the opposite back pocket. He's kicked it well away from Schoenmakers. Had some time to get there against the boundary and make the pass for Suckling. Mitchell's on offer at halfback. He receives and puts it back to Suckling, running the southern wing. Short pass is not great. Shields took the half volley, but he handled it well. He spreads a little wider for Birchall, who's got forward. Kick out into the pocket, looking for Franklin. Griffiths made the spoil, but lost the ball. Franklin's ball was intended for Sewell, who couldn't mark, and Cochin brings it away. The Tigers to open up on the counter-attack. Gave it to Martin, back to Cochin. Martin again, up to Delidio. Each is a hand pass. Cochin for the third time in the movement. Lace out to Nahas. Edwards has ghosted forward. He'll mark, play on, measure it up, and goal! They're making all the right moves. Richmond by 23 again. 11-8 to 7-9. Time on of the third term.
Very important time of the game. 21 minute mark of the third quarter. You're under pressure. Enter young Trent Cochin. What a game, what a player, what a star. And understanding what to do and what you actually, when you run with the ball and you take the opposition on, people go, well, how good's that? And then to go again and get the next one. And then the next one. He had 3 possessions in that period, set up 2 or 3 others, and then Shane Edwards on the end. Trent Cochin is an absolute lay-down misère for the All-Australian side, I would say. One of the great young players of this competition.
Narrowly.
Yeah, Trent's come straight to the bench, absolutely blowing. He's just taken a walk and a big sip of Powerade, and the crowd is absolutely loving him. He's on the phone now, but he is breathing deeply.
Tigers win another clearance. Foley, a little hand pass back to D. Ball comes up to Delidio on the wing. Massive kick. Unmarked is Revolt in the forward pocket to take a chest mark about 35 metres from goal.
Talk about passages of play that win matches. That's one.
Delidio's gone to the front in possessions. He's 23. Tuck, Cochin and Foley all 22. Revolt for his third goal. Tight enough angle. Distance, no problem. He misses to the near side for a behind, and that's 2 goals, 2 for Big Jack. 11-9-75 the Tigers. The Hawks 7-9-51.
Suckling on the kick in. Just takes pause. Plays onto himself into the back pocket. Gets a bit of extra yardage. Long kick. Stratton's got to go. Jumped into the pack. Couldn't take the mark. Sewell got hit hard by Foley and dispossessed. Tuck on the ricochet. Gave it to Jackson. Tried to hand pass forward. King's making it better than it was. They fight for it. Sewell gets in there as well. Bodies cannoning in all directions. The ball is lost underneath.
Jakey King kicked it to himself on his back. That was amazing.
It's 55 out from the Richmond goal.
Tuck through it, rugby style.
Jackson had to get rid of it in a hurry. He hesitated and it was lost. At the bounce, Marich got his hand to it. Sewell, though, in the middle of the congestion, toes it forward for the Hawks. Hawley will get there. Had a fumble as he ran into Franklin. Franklin's tackling Hawley, who releases the ball. Rioli trying to muscle his way through. Paddled the way of Ellis. Hand pass to D. He's had a fumble and lost it. Rioli put it forward to the play. Bruce gets it over the top. The Hawks are everywhere. Smith to Franklin, who'll steady from 40 and miss. He was in his favoured left forward pocket. He just wobbled it away near side. The Hawks are down by 23.
Oh, kick in. Gutsy kick in.
And here's Tuck at centre half-back. Straight down the centre of the ground. Delidio marks near the circles. Hand pass to Conker. Long kick to the goal square. Edwards! No. Punched away. Ball still in play out towards the pocket. Seen over the boundary line by Gillum. And we get a throw in. Chance for the players to take a deep breath. It's been frenetic end-to-end stuff and fantastic body collisions. 75 to 52. Richmond taken up to the Hawks. Hale clean possession in the ruck. The kick out. Clean bowls Burgoyne. He's got plenty of time. In between halfback and wing. Pokes one to true centre wing. Lewis. And now Shields gets clear at half forward flank. He's got Franklin clear at full forward. Standing under it. Taking the mark. 30 out. He doesn't go the score. He goes for Cyril, who marks and goals. Rioli his second. Buddy still goalless. Careful, because here come the Hawks. 11-9, 75 Richmond. 8-10, 58 the Hawks.
Look, I think Richmond's defence has dropped off. I think it dropped off at the 20-minute mark. Even though they won the ball and kicked their last goal with good movement, the reason the ball moved so well to goal was that they weren't defending properly, and when they won the ball in defensive 50, they had so many loose players ahead of the ball. And Hawthorn are sensing that. We're seeing Hawthorn's midfield run the lines in waves more than we've seen during the course of the game. And again, a lead gets to a certain place and teams think, well, game's on the line right now, and Hawthorn are playing like it is on the line right now.
Favoured way has been 23 back to 17, in and out. It's 17 at the moment. Tuck wins the ball in the middle. Hand pass to Cochin. Up inside the 50. Revolt got one hand to it. It wasn't enough. Off the ground went Edwards. It trickles away out into the pocket and over the boundary. Narrowly Meadows.
Yeah, Rance was absolutely adamant he touched that one that Franklin ended up marking, and looking at the replay, I think he had a fair case as well.
Left forward pocket for the Tigers. Can they respond yet again? Roughhead knocked it down to the front and it wasn't sighted thereafter.
I think one of the significant things in this quarter, I don't think Richmond's lost a centre bounce. So Hawthorn are starting the game 30 metres out from their own goal all the time. Now, in modern AFL football, it's just too demanding to try and do that.
At the bounce, Roughhead swipes it well clear of the pack, but it hasn't worked. Edwards got it for the Tigers. Hooley had a fumble, had to paddle it backwards, and Newman had a fumble, and he's caught and should be penalised holding the ball. No whistle from the umpire. We're watching a different game. Hooley out to Nahas, another fumble from Edwards. It's out of play, 50 from the Richmond goal.
Just those periods of concentration that Tigers drop off, and they go in and laps in and laps out, and sometimes they're spectacular and sometimes they're off.
Gee, there was a Hawthorn free kick in there for hold. Comes to Grigg, a high ball to full forward. Vickery! There's Marriage. Big Ivan has taken the mark about 20 metres from goal.
Now that's what you call a quick kick into the forward line for your talls, right at the top of the square, perfect for the big fellas. And Marriage comes at the ball. Where Jack pushes back, Marriage goes forward, and he was just caught on his own. Beautiful kick. Easy kick. Not flash, not fancy, just perfect.
Well, who thought that Ivan would play a season like this since coming over from the Crows? Marriage, not far off centre, close in, drop punch for goal. His first 33 in 86 games in his career. And the Tigers are 12-9-81. The Hawks 8-10-58.
Well, that's 4 goals each for the quarter. So I thought the Hawthorn were going to win that quarter, but they're not. The Tigers have levelled them up. They've challenged Hawthorn. They've kept coming at them. But just basic, simple things like that. Marriage being in front, running at the ball, taking a mark, and a nice little kick from a ball up or a boundary throw. Another victory from a ball up or boundary throw into the forward line. Goal. He's invaluable, that Marriage. He's been sensational.
Narrowly.
Well, Ben Griffiths has had his back worked on for about 5 to 10 minutes now right in front of me, and also Ellis has been having some troubles with his left hammy. He's getting a fair bit of work done as well. He's not happy.
Tigers by 23. Martin got it cleanly from Marriage up inside the 50 again. Threatening is Nahas and Revolt off the ground. Marriage got it! Hand pass, Nahas, goal! There'll be something to run down now. Richmond by 29 on the breath of three-quarter time.
I've never seen a team in one quarter get smashed up like Hawthorn have had the centre bounce.
Flog.
And Marrick has set up both goals, but he's been on the end of clearance wins. And the midfield for Richmond has been outstanding. They've all shared the load. And if they continue this type of improvement amongst one another, they can make their way to the top very quickly.
One of their weaknesses is the ruck in Hawthorn, and they've exposed it with Marriage and also Vickery. He's been terrific in there.
And the Tigers have called for extras in defence. They're going to put up the dam wall here in the last 30 seconds of the quarter. Cochin has it in midfield. It comes forward again for the Tigers. Centre clearances have been amazing. Revolt applies a great tackle. That ball ain't going anywhere. Well, eventually out the back door through Guerra to Young, who's not too good off his right. Kick goes nowhere. Grabbed by Conker. Short pass. Tuck takes the mark. What a feeling amongst the Richmond fans and the Richmond players at three-quarter time. They lead by 29 points, having kicked 5 goals to 4 in that third quarter. It's the Tigers 13-9-87 to Hawthorn 8-10-58. Jake King's kicked 3, Revolt 2, Edwards 2. Singles for Nahas, Martin, Marich. And for Hawthorn, Brewster's kicked 3, Rioli 2, Young, Roughhead and Smith 1 each.
The midfield.
It would be fair to assume. And look, I was honest before, Richmond should be 8 or 9 goals in front.
They are 29 points in front, Richmond. Into the last quarter we go. What's left for us? Hale with a tap. Delidio tackled as soon as he got hold of it, and he's been awarded a free kick against Burgoyne. Hand pass to Cochin. Back up to the 50. It's a little wide of its target, Nahas. And it's picked off by Stratton, the Hawks in defence. Sideways with his kick to Burchell. Up to Sewell, who was hot. Gave it back to Burchell. He decided to try for the torpedo. It was an ugly looking ball going forward. Conker trapped it at ground level. Hand pass to Delidio, dispossessed by Burgoyne. Hale gave it to Puopolo, straight into the play. Kicks it around the corner in the Rioli direction. Lets it land. Morris wears him close, but Rioli slips away. Got it to the left boot. Pulled the kick though. And misses near side. 28 points is the margin.
Chris, you can see a little bit of haste in their play now, the Hawks. They're actually playing on at all costs. Couldn't care less what happens. Let's just go.
2 goals, 3 to Rioli. No goals, 3 to Franklin. The rain coming again to the MCG. Delidio marks the kick in, and with a short pass finds Edwards. Lights on. Very dark, just as well they are on. The kick towards half forward. Oh, excellent mark, front of the pack. What a game he's played, Foley. Gives a short one into Tuck. First goal could be vital in this last quarter for the Tigers. Long kick by Tuck. In the pack. Oh, Vickery hand to it. No mark. Knocked on by Revolt. Out towards the pocket. The hand pass back to Jackson near the boundary line. He's nearly kicked this. He has kicked it from the impossible angle. Now they'll be hard to beat. Rain tumbling down. And the margin is 34 points.
Yeah, look, and Hawthorn have gone to this is a much more one-on-one environment, so they're playing their 6 forwards close to the goal. They're making their halfbacks come up with the Richmond half forwards. The only 2 freer players are the 2 ruckmen. They're trying to force it into a really contested and high-skilled game, but at the end of the day, Richmond are continuing to win the contested possession. They won the first centre bounce with Delidio getting the ball, and in the end, a very good goal kicked. And it's starting to be torrential rain down there, Drew.
Oh, cue the rain, all right. Biggest lead and heaviest rain of the afternoon. In the middle, Jackson got hold of it again. He was dispossessed though. Sewell tried. Martin hand passes it forward to Hooley. Some sort of kick sideways, gathered by King. Put it out near Edwards. He gathered the wet footy. Hand passed it back to King. Now the kick all the way across fullback. They gave a lot of ground to retain possession, but it's in the safekeeping of Newman. Hooley's got loose over the top. Back line of the centre square. He's got 2 on the outside to work with as they switch it back. Rance, who'll use Conker out on the members' wing. Oh, he dropped the chest mark. Mitchell bearing down. Conker gets away though. Runs to the wing. Good play. Up to half forward. Nahas brought it down. Jackson tried. He tunnelled it out. Guerra kicked it off the ground. It was smothered though by the Tigers. Cochin's after it. Paddles it out in front of Nahas. Having trouble gathering. So too Gillam. Schoenmakers coughed it up to Martin. Missed his target. Tuck. Still to be won. Narrich at the 50. Off to Jackson. Wide out to King. King with a hand pass inboard. Cochin's your man. He snaps around the body. Marked on the behind line by Revolts.
Yes!
Revolt runs around and goals. And you can come join the joyride. The Tigers are up by 40. And not even them from here. 15-9 to 8-11.
Well, you actually got no idea how much Cochin means to this side. He was involved in the first goal that went through from the boundary line. He picked it up off the ground and handballed it out, and that went through. And then Cochin again is in play. As soon as he leaves the ground, I watched before, he left the ground in the third quarter, and Hawthorn scored 2 goals in that period of that 3 or 4 minutes he was off the ground. He's so important to this side. He's so calm. He's so collected. He's cool. He's like James Bond out there. He's a beauty. He just keeps getting the ball and putting it in the right spots. He's a ripper.
Narrowly, we have a local rule for grandstand boundary riders when it's raining.
It is absolutely belting down. I've got 2 coats, I'm still getting wet, but one bloke is very happy. It's the bloke behind me, very happy Tiger supporter who said more rain because he thinks they can't lose from here.
Jackson's kick towards the goal square. It's grabbed at ground level and snapped across his body. Who's that? Oh, Ellis. Yeah, look different with wet hair. Sorry about that. The ton's up at the MCG. 100 plays 59.
Suckling in long, but it's cut off by Tuck, and it's coming straight back. They contest. Revolt contested mark. Barely 25 out from goal. The Tigers fans this afternoon are not going to be made to bite their fingernails to their elbows. This is well within their keeping. It could become a major celebration by the end of it all. Revolt has kicked 3 goals too. There is an angle. Jack should be able to negotiate it. And he can. Revolt with his 4th. Richmond by 47 points, narrowly.
Richmond, the game's over, but they've put their substitute on. Marek was so excited to get out there. He almost ran out with the substitute green jacket still on. Ellis is the man that comes off.
He has broken the interchange a few times out of Marek over their journey. He does get a bit excited. Hawthorn supporters couldn't drive the car here today. I've seen their team get belted up. This could be a 10-goal loss, which will have ramifications moving forward. And now they've got to walk back to the train station in the torrential rain, Mark. So it's been a terrific effort by Richmond. Again, disciplined ball movement into the teeth of goal. Great mark, Jack Rewalt.
Thrown up in the middle. Marriage gets it down to Tuck. A high ball. Does it clear the centre square? Yes, just gets it out of there. King throws himself at it. Works it to Foley. Up the ground it comes to Marek. Adam Marek gets the hand pass back. Conker. Oh! Revolt! What a mark with a wet ball.
That's the way, Jack. Come at the ball. 2 in a row.
That is fantastic. Slippery bit of leather. And he was up a mile and marked it over his head. Beautiful football. Well, he's kicked 2 in this last quarter, 4 for the game. This for number 5. Hawthorn will be having their worst loss of the season, and there's a chance that Richmond could have their biggest win. They beat Melbourne by 59. Melbourne, for 59. They might beat the Hawks by more. Revolt, 47 out. Yes! A golden burst in the last quarter. 3 goals in 7 minutes to Jack himself. And the Tigers 17-10 to 8-11.
We came here today with questions. Well, they've been answered. Can the Tigers take on a big side and beat them? Well, they certainly have. They've been terrific. And they've done that in a fashion that has been so, just so dominant that it's just incredible. And let me tell you, the Hawks have got a fair bit to worry about, as Chris just said. But I love the work of Jack Rewalt. Now they're starting to build some confidence in each other. Now they're starting to understand what it's like to be a good side. Now they wanted to be a good side. Guess what? Now they're going to beat a good side. So fantastic stuff by the Tigers. They kick it long. Basic things done very well.
They've kicked 6 in a row in 10 minutes of game time. Hale gets it out of the ruck for the Hawks, and it's a lonely venture forward. Marek is after it, though, for the Tigers. Hand pass to Rance. Kicks around the southern wing. It's away from all comers and out of bounds on the full. While this has been happening, Port Adelaide has broken the game open on the Gold Coast. 14-10-94 to the Suns, 7-8-50. That's time on now of the third term. So the Suns are destined to remain winless, and the Power will string a couple together. So the Hawks got the ball back from that out of bounds on the full. It's a long ball forward that Hale couldn't mark. Tuck gathered the crumb. Hand pass to Hooley. Richmond back to half forward with the kick. Revolt knocked it on. He was looking for King, who towed it on to Jackson. Oh, this is dead simple from the one he kicked earlier. He runs in and boots another. The Tigers are rampant. 18-10, 118 to Hawthorn, 8-11-59.
And that piece of play goes all the way back to Shane Tuck. He's had a terrific game. He'll be hard to beat for best player on the field. Terrific movement. Jack Riewoldt has also had a terrific game. He stood under all the long balls coming in, and on that occasion tapped the ball over, and it ended up a good finish for goal. And this is a very, very important game for Richmond. It'll be a game they reflect back on all season. To knock off a finals contender or premiership contender in the fashion they've done it, they've got to finish the game off strongly.
Bookies will be twiddling knobs this afternoon. The Hawks will be far from premiership favourites after this. The kick up towards Franklin, who drops a chest mark. He's goalless today, just hasn't been his day. For the Hawks just outside the 50, little toe poke forward, taken by Conker for Richmond. He kicks him back towards centre wing, a one-on-one contest. King, and with him is Birchall, who beats him. A high ball to half forward. Comes down to the front to Lewis. Hurriedly onto the left boot. He kicks towards full forward. Franklin grabbed here when he hasn't got it. And he'll take a free kick. Oh, he was doing the grabbing. No, Franklin gets the free kick. Now, he's not far off centre. And he's about 20 metres from goal.
What's the odds here, Drew? Hasn't kicked one. Kicked poorly all day.
Well, I wonder how many times in his career he's been goalless for a game. And whether that'd be running through his mind. He's had 9 kicks, 5 marks, 5 hand passes for 3 behinds. This should be a soda. And I think he's kicked it as close to the right-hand goal post. He's got the goal. Franklin, 1 goal, 3 and 1 out of bounds. And that breaks a run of the Tigers. Far too late for the Hawks. 18-10 to 9-11.
Yeah, he's been well beaten today, I think, by Rance. Rance has been terrific against him. He's a poor kick sometimes, but sometimes he's a spectacular kick. Today hasn't been his day with the boot. He's had 4 or 5 chances that he's missed, who I thought were real certainties for him on his day. You can't keep him down. But the Tigers day to day, I tell you now, young Rance, the son of Murray, would be absolutely ecstatic about his performance this afternoon, and so he should be.
Yep, that's Alex.
Richmond by 53. Thrown up in the middle, you'd give it to Hale. Rioli's gone there. He slides in, releases the footy to Mitchell. Hand pass to Burgoyne. Put it forward to Young. He's in a 2-man tackle. Marrick brings him down. And the umpire is going to bounce. Narrowly.
The rain has stopped, but the teeth are officially chattering.
You know the local rule for grandstand boundary riders, don't you? It's warm up here in the commentary box.
Thanks for that.
Saul got it from the stoppage. Came the way of Bruce out to Franklin. Run down from behind. Hand pass to Lewis. Knocked it out into the pocket. Puopolo's onto it. Morris tackles him. Grabbed him. Dispossessed him. Should have won holding the ball. Not playing that this afternoon. Marrick out across the face of goal. Hooley the look away. Knock away into the pocket. Griffiths is going to get it on the outward kick. He bounces out of the tackle of Guerra. Hand pass to Vickery, lopes through the defensive 50 and picks out the pass for King on the wing.
The push-up King. The tattooed sleeve. He's played a terrific game. Pokes in a short pass to Basher Hooley, who marks right in front of the interchange gate and below the commentary box. 118 to 65. What a thumping for the Hawks. There's the kick by Hooley. Rough head up high to punch away. Rode by Nahas. Deft footwork. Little toe poke inside the 50. They slide in for it. Still here for the Tigers. Oh, Tuck might have interfered with Roughhead. No whistle on the play. They're just letting him play on. Edwards works the ball back. Scooped off the deck by Conker. Oh, on his own is Delidio, marking 40 out. It opens up for him and he kicks the goal. Six goals in 14 minutes in the last quarter for the Tigers. They're 19-10 to the Hawks, 9-11.
And their heads went down, the Hawks. Their heads actually hit the deck. That's a really bad sign. They are shot ducks, and haven't seen that very often with the Hawks. But today, I'm sure that Alistair Clarkson would put a little line through and say, hang on, what's going to happen here? Where are we going to go? We've been beaten by some good sides, and now we've been beaten by an up-and-comer who are just harder at the ball than us. It's a very worrying day for the Hawks, I can assure you.
Richmond by 59, Port Adelaide by 47. Thrown up in the middle. Lewis will get the clearance for the Hawks, but the Tigers have got the man back and it's kicked straight to D. He has a look at options on the way out. Kicks it to Martin, who'll come across the face of goal for Newman. Out to the members' side, Conquerors loose against the boundary. He has it 60 away from the defensive goal. They're manned down the line. He'll have to kick it to a contest. Now he's gone for Tuck with a cleverly placed pass.
He just keeps getting it, doesn't he?
Yep.
30.
He's been called to play on. He's manufactured a dinking ball into the middle for Newman. Newman has runners on the outside on the southern wing. Lobs it out there. D gives it to Griffiths. He'll touch it down.
He could
kick it from 80. He's given it the lot. It's a long roost and it'll be punched away in front of the behind post and out of play by Roughhead. Narrowly.
Young from the Hawks has just gone into the rooms. He limped off after that last goal where, as you said, their heads didn't just drop. They all stopped moving before the goal was even kicked. So Young in the rooms as we speak.
Throw in, another chance for the Tigers. Vickery wins the hit out, gets it going goalwards. Schoenmakers for Hawthorn, throws it on the boot and kicks wide and finds touch on defensive 50. Southern stand side, the crowd posted at 51,617. I'm not sure how many got here with no car parks out there, but the trams and trains must have done very well today. At the throw in on the 50. Out the back it comes to Grigg. Hurried kick inside the 50. Bouncing ball, Roughhead charges straight at it. To Stratton, to Smith, under pressure, dispossessed by Martin. A snap by Martin. He's kicked one too. 2 goals to Dustin Martin. They've had 11 different goal kickers. It's a rout. 2010 to 9-11.
And a lot of great players have different attributes, X-factor attributes. And the one thing Dustin Martin does as good as anyone in the competition is take one step and kick the ball accurately over a long distance. And that's what he did just then. He was under pressure. One step means he's going to buy himself a little bit of time, and with his kicking action drove through the ball and kick an outstanding goal. There's not many players out on the field that could have kicked a goal like Dustin Martin just kicked, and it's a significant X-factor skill of his.
They've kicked 9 out of 10 goals in 18 minutes of football, Richmond. Tuck out of the middle to half forward. Whitecross gets hold of it, but his kick is smothered by Grigg, and still they push the Tigers. Schoenmakers tries to repel, and he boots it out of bounds on the full. And the chorus of Richmond fans gets louder still. Hooley. Centre line on the southern side. High ball up to the 50. Roughhead will get the jump at it and unimpeded. He takes the defensive mark. He's looking for the short pass to centre half back where Suckling has made the space. Hand pass to Birchall. Shoots it off now to Smith. Kick to half forward. Bruce rises over the top. He dropped the mark and Morris gets hold of him. Morris is a man possessed today. Threw himself at it and jarred it free. Martin to Hooley and Morris again. Got his hand pass away before he was tackled. Tuck and Martin stood, broke 2 tackles. Martin on the wing. Hand pass to Grigg. Back to Martin. Feeds the hand pass inboard for Jackson. Jackson will kick him inside the 50. Revolts in the middle of the pack. Off hands. Kings at the back. off the ground, had a fresh air, he won't matter. Nahas the revolt, and Jack's got half a dozen. The push all the way down the field. Relentless stuff. Richmond by 71 points. Yes, 71 points. 21-10, 136 to 9-11-65.
Oh, we come to the football to be entertained. I think we've had sensational entertainment, but Cochin's Dustin Martin then was just outstanding. The other star, the other young star of the football club at Richmond. He got one possession, he got two possessions, he set up the whole space, and then all of a sudden it went forward. Jack was there, got the one off Nahas and through, but it was the way it was set up from half back. They haven't given up yet. They want to bury a side, and they certainly are.
Thrown up in the middle, Marriage wins another one, but it comes down to Hale. His hand pass forward doesn't find a target. Richmond have it again. Newman a little one to Marrick. His kick goes about 8 metres. Lewis gathers for the Hawks through Hale and Smith. And Whitecross, a massive kick from the centre circles to full forward. It comes off hands. I think Buddy's lost the enthusiasm for the contest. He's caught behind here and it's rushed towards the boundary line and seen out by Reece Conker. And we get a boundary throw in.
Drew, he's not in his own.
Oh, it's a troubling day for the Hawks. As exultant as it is for Richmond. Savage got it from the throw-in, kicked a full forward. Roughhead gets himself clear, and he's able to take the mark 15 metres out from goal.
He's the only one who looked like taking a mark in their forward line, Chris.
I thought Hale was good early, but look, as I said, I thought Hale, Roughhead and Franklin all looked dangerous. They just haven't been given the opportunity, and that was from a clearance.
Quick kick.
Yes, yeah.
Jared Roughhead takes the deep breath, makes his approach to goal, and he finds the major opening. Muted applause. 2 goals for Roughhead. And the margin back to 65 points.
Now, Mark, I'd like to ask you a question. You remember when Tommy Hafey said there's nothing more tigerish than a tiger?
Than an angry tiger.
Than an angry tiger or
whatever.
Yes. Now, I think the midfield for Richmond have been like a wolf pack. So I want to ask you, would a wolf pack beat a single tiger?
I think they live in different countries, don't they?
Well, hypothetically, with your knowledge of each species.
Or hyenas. No, I don't have any knowledge of them. Seen them in the zoo.
Gee, I tell you, even that quick kick under pressure from Hawthorn, Richmond were all over them.
So thrown up back in the middle. The ball is won out by Puopolo, and the Hawks will go forward again. Roughhead flies in a pack of 5. It's punched away and will run all the way out of play.
Still plenty of time to go. 65 points is the lead here. Incredible. Boundary throw in. Martin just dances through the pack. Finds Cochin. Finds Rance. Back to Cochin. Down the line he goes, and the mark's taken by Adam Marrick. The substitute on for the last quarter. It's one of the few Tigers who hasn't kicked the goal. He goes back. Rance takes the mark. Draws a man. Off to Martin, who's nearly blindsided by Roughhead, but he slips the tackle and pokes the ball out towards Deledio on the wing. Comfortable mark.
He just treats him with disdain, doesn't he?
Yep.
Martin just doesn't care. Grab me if you can.
Martin up to 31 possessions. Kicked by Deledio near the 50. Marking contest comes to the front. Taken by Tuck. Slings out a hand pass to Foley, who handles it like it's a dry ball. Back he goes to Marrick. Foley will get it back. He's got some space through the middle. Has a bounce. Looks up. And where's Revolt? Oh, Jake King's up a mile. He has to punch though. Gets it outside the 50. Ground level ball to be won. Conker is there. He gathers. Off with a hand pass to King. Out wide. Jackson. 60 from goal. Short pass is punched away by the Hawks defence. It's outside the 50 again. Conker soccers the ball forward. Schoenmaker's too slow. Caught by Vickery. And now it'll be a ball up about 40 metres out from goal. Richmond attacking again. What a day for the Tigers.
And they're not going to stop running, Richmond. I mean, how much would you enjoy playing out there in front of your home crowd in such a big game and be dominating by so much? They'll run this game right out.
Deledio goes third man up. Double palmed it down to Grigg. He was dispossessed. King fights for it at ground level with Sewell. It's not to be. 50 outs.
One of the big problems you have as a coach on this one, Gerard, is that your players won't come off, and it stuffs all your interchange rotations up because they're enjoying it so much out there.
Thrown up, Hale one front position. Cochin trying to get through the pack. King was nearly pushed in the back. He's got the ball, probably having dived on it. So he missed the free kick initially, and he gets penalised on the way back for it.
Isaac Smith, dangerous kick, cross in front of goal. Works okay for Whitecross. Now short pass to Birchall. Across the ground he comes to Gibson, who marks near defensive 50. Down the line, well delivered. Schoenmakers takes the mark. He goes further down the line. Look out, here comes pressure from Marrick. But the mark's been taken by Suckling. Centre wing, member side of the MCG. 65-point lead to Richmond. Centering ball is well delivered, and the mark's taken by Stratton. He sweeps it further afield to Birchall. And a long kick to full forward. Might have been a bit of pushing there before the mark was taken, but Roughhead gets away with it.
Gee, that looked like a free kick.
Wow.
Yeah, it probably did look like a free kick, but you know what? They've let it go.
Rance was just monstered then before the ball arrived.
Well, a push in the back's a push in the back, whether it's with your hand or your forearm. That was a free kick.
So Ruffy could finish with 3. Just as well that decision didn't decide the game. He's missed it anyway.
He knew.
Yeah, he did. He played fair.
There was a shocker of those last night as well, and I reckon once the players get a hint of what you can get away with, they try it repeatedly.
You're spot on.
Kick in will be marked by Rance, who's at the full gallop through half back. He decides the short pass to Marrick. The Lidio's going by. He's got to burn him off. He tried and he failed. He couldn't quite break the Puopolo tackle and gave it up to Birchall. Off to Franklin and up through the middle to Burgoyne. He kicks with haste to the forward line. Ill-directed. Newman will guide it back and see it out of play.
Gee, their kick-in plans have worked a treat though today for the Tigers.
64-point leaders, Richmond. Delidio, polite applause as he heads to the bench, and Tuck tags back in. Marich plays it back toward the boundary on the throw-in. After a couple of bounces, it finds its way there. Left forward pocket for the Hawks. 26 minutes on the clock in this final term. Utterly dominated by Richmond. Burgoyne receives the tap, wheels around, takes the shot at goal, and misses across the face.
I've just had a text from our accountant, and also Noble Park 3 points up halfway through the last quarter, apart from the other good news that he gave us.
What did it start with?
A victory.
In the queue to collect.
What number did it start with?
Newman kicks in all the way to the centre square. Tuck works it back to Rance. Oh, gee whiz, he is whacked around the jaw by Mitchell. Ball comes up to the middle of the ground. Cochin sidesteps him. Out to Marrick, the sub. Took a week to pick it up. Back to Cochin. Oh, he is a beautiful player. A short ball up to Revolt. Here comes Nahas, who backs out of a tackle, snaps for goal, but he's offline and away to the right for a behind. 1 goal, 2 for Robin Nahas.
It shows you that all sizes can play our game, that kid. Tiny, skinny, quick, clever.
Guerra. He's on the kick in. 64 points is the margin. He's used this one well. Birchall marked and fed it straight on to Burgoyne coming through centre half back. Direct with a kick, but Newman had it well scouted. They had 2-on-1 against Roughhead. The intercepting mark. He's gone for Conker on the way out. It was a dicey sort of kick over the top of him. Rioli got hold of it. Hand passed it to Puopolo. Back to Rioli. Kick to the teeth of goal. Roughhead again outnumbered. 2 went with him the whole way. And Rance takes the mark at fullback.
Gee, Murray's boy's going all right, isn't he?
Alex Rance has turned into a very, very good player. Just his ball use is sometimes not good.
Now Delidio marks on the defensive 50. Still a couple of minutes to go. A couple of minutes of more pain for the Hawks to endure. Kick by Delidio in the purple boots. Here's Revolt charging in. Did he take the mark? No, he spilled it. Comes Hawthorn's way. Puopolo kicks to full forward. But Richmond back there with numbers. Oh, they missed the ball though. Rioli paddles the ball in. Inside the corridor. Roughhead might have been grabbed around the jumper when he didn't have it, but there's no whistle for that. Back out towards the 50. Sewell charges in. Hand pass to Mitchell. Left foot snapped by Sam Mitchell. Away to the left and through for a behind.
They are looking tired, the Tigers. They haven't got that run anymore that they've had for the majority of the game, so they'll need to possess the ball and think their way through this.
Yeah, they worked hard, though, Kush.
They have.
8-2 in the final term. The Tigers restart play. The long kick in from Grigg. Big Pack flies at it. Lewis got hold of it. He's dumped in the tackle. Roughhead on the spillage. Gave it off to Gibson. Stood in the tackle of Marriage. King gets hold of it for the Tigers. Couldn't quite get it to boot. He's dragged down. Jackson tries. Hand pass to Delidio. Revolt comes up to help out. To Ivan Marriage, who tried to work it around the boundary and kicked it the wrong side of it. It floats away out on the full.
Gee, of all the little blokes who've played their part, what about Ivan? Gee whiz, he's been good. The kick up to Mitchell doesn't hit the target, and he's under pressure and fumbles it out of bounds with Jackson right on his hammer. Approaching the 30-minute mark of the last quarter. In about the last minute of play. Vickery wins the hit out. Comes to Mitchell, who's slung to ground, hasn't got the ball. Advantage taken by Burgoyne. Long ball to full forward. Franklin juggles and marks. He doesn't go back to take a set shot. Yeah. He hurries a pass away, which comes unstuck, but it is in the goal square. A chance for the Hawks until it is rushed through for a behind. Desperation by Jake King concedes the point to the Hawks, who have 3 rush behinds in their score of 10-15.
Kick-in's a good one. Foley takes the mark. And he's in no hurry to use it. Tuck provides disposal number 35 as a kick sideways to Rance, who's has Franklin's number. He slipped as he went to play on. Franklin charged at him, believing that he had it. It's a 50-metre penalty. It's one of those awkward moments we are coming to recognise.
Sort of day he's had, isn't it?
Yeah, he didn't fall off the mark, Rance. Look, I think Buddy's behaviour the last 2 contests he's been involved in has been poor. He didn't play the percentages when he was 30 metres out from goal, and he knows that the umpire needs to call play on, particularly with Rance not falling off the line. He fell over, but not off the line.
Rance has decided to give them a run at one last goal. Revolt leaps into the pack. It's all about the crumb. Edwards knocks it to the teeth of goal. Whitecross gets hold of it for the Hawks. Hand pass to Gibson. He'll kick it on the way out to Rioli. But the siren is a moment long promised for Richmond. Their best win in an eon. They have dismantled Hawthorn to the tune of 62 points. Have a listen to this tune. Richmond led at quarter time by 19 points, at the half by 23, at 3/4 time by 29, and they booted 8-2 in the final stanza to win by 62 points. 21 goals 11, 137 to Hawthorn, 10-15, 75. It is a roar full of promise for what is to come for this Richmond side. 51,617 in to see it. You'll be able to see and hear the Tiger fans as they depart on trains and trams and walking from the G for the hours to come. Richmond by 62 points over Hawthorn. Port Adelaide has control of things on the Gold Coast against the Suns, 14-15, 99 to 10-8, 68. Our next match for broadcast is at Docklands, St Kilda playing Sydney. News Radio will head there shortly, the rest of the nation just before the opening bounce. Chris Connolly and Mark McClure.
Oh, well, it's a great song, and the Tigers supporters should be very proud of their troops. They were spectacular today. They started well, they maintained, no lapses. That was the key to them. They absolutely did not lapse at all. The questions were asked of their defence. Did that stand up? Well, I think there's a little tick there for Murray Rance, Chris Newman, Stevie Morris, of course, who was on Rioli, the Danger Men. And they also, Matty D, Basher Hooley, Brandon Ellis. I mean, let me tell you, they're not household names, but did they play a game? Absolutely they did. They stuck to their task. The questions were asked of their midfield, and Rux, Grigg, Martin, Edwards, Cochin and Tuck. Did they answer? Tick. Absolutely spectacular what they did today. And their forward line were the recipients of a really strong midfield and defence. And in the last quarter, they showed exactly what they could do. I loved the finish. I loved what they did. They destroyed a really good side. They destroyed a contender, and the bookies have got it wrong. They got no idea, those bookies. They're not that good, Hawthorn. They're just ordinary. And the style of play was long, direct. I love the start of it where they actually innovative in their kick-ins, just long and take them on, kick it over the top, and actually upset the Hawks, really did. Now they've set a standard. They really have set a standard for themselves that they have to stick to the Tigers, and I love it because that gives them a benchmark to work from and work on it. I love the actually it's harder to win, and they'll know that now. Harder to win than it is to lose. They looked exhausted at the end, but there's nothing wrong with that. I thought they were terrific. The Hawks, again, floundered in the same style of play against a fairly good side. Their slow movement was ordinary, and the use of the ball terrible. Their ruck problems are really damning when you look at the centre bounce and the way that they moved the ball and got smashed in the centre bounce as we go. I thought that they were just destroyed there. Their midfield was ordinary. Couldn't find a winner, to tell you the truth. Could not find one winner that I could see that actually beat his man. And as I wrote on the bottom, the bookies have got no idea. They just pinched some money there off those people. They were 4-1 or 5-1. They're a 10-1 chance and drifting at this stage.
But we pinched some back off them.
No gloating, Drew.
What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, look, the excitement in and amongst the players was exactly the same as the excitement amongst Mark and Drew, with a few things going their way at the races today. But I wrote down a number of things and Mark ticked them all off. But I'd just like to say about Hawthorn also that the most worrying thing was they weren't on. And they've been up and down a little bit this season. We know they're a talented team. We know they've invested in a premiership run with the talent they've traded in. And their accuracy in front of goal was poor. They kicked a number out in the full. Their basic skills were average. Their tackling, and I think in this last quarter, Mark made the comment that the Richmond midfielders were treating them with disrespect, the way they danced through their tackles. And the fundamentals, the basics for Hawthorn weren't on today. I think it was notable the point you made with Richmond. They did sustain the pressure, and that's always the measure of a good club and good team. And if that's been their Achilles heel in the past, it looks like they're going to take care of it into the future. So it's a very exciting time for the Richmond supporters. Can I just mention one player? It's not easy being Michael Tuck's son, and Shane didn't make it the easy way, but he was sensational today.
Hold that thought. We will come back to it. Let's go and join the Tigers. Nerily Meadows is in the room.
Yeah, Brett Delidio just came in and just did the old wiggles fingers. They're very excited in here, and they've been clapped in all the way down the hallway. So let's go join them and have a listen to what's expected to be a very excited song.
That is the sound of victory if ever you heard it. And the Tigers fans are lingering a little longer in the stands of the MCG. They don't want the feeling to pass just yet. 51,617 in at the MCG this afternoon to see Richmond 21-11, 137 take down Hawthorn 10-15-75. A result with ramifications huge for both the winner and the loser. We'll continue on for the next 7 or 8 minutes before we head to Docklands, and the opening siren there, we won't miss it, St Kilda and Sydney. Nerily with the Tigers.
Yeah, the Tigers had every reason to fail in defence today. Jake Batchelor had a run-in with a tram track, and of course Dylan Grimes had his hammy. But I'm with one man who did an absolute job on Cyril Rioli. Young gun Steve Morris, you must be excited.
Oh yeah, it's bloody good to beat the Hawks on their ground. They've probably been one of the top teams in the competition for the last few years now, and with Jacker and Dimmer having a bit of history with Hawthorn, it's good to get over the line and win a really important match for us.
You're getting pats on the back if you're doing the interview. You didn't just do a job defensively, you kicked one of the goals of the year. Talk us through that one.
Yeah, I can't really remember it. It was I don't get down there in the forward line too often, so it was good to snag one and get the first one under the belt.
You're talking yourself down. It was absolutely remarkable. How big a win is this?
Yeah, it's really important. I mean, we've made no bones about the fact that we want to compete with the top teams in the competition, and we've finally been able to do that in the last few weeks and test ourselves against the best. And we've had a tough run, but we're starting to put the runs on the board now and get some important wins under the belt, and this was no different.
All right, Stephen, I'll send you up to the boys upstairs.
Steve, you've had a tough run to get to AFL football. Must be a great joy to be a part of a ripping young side who's on the move.
Yeah, it is. I've felt right a part of it right from the start. It's been a fantastic journey so far, and we've got a really young backline, but we're starting to gel together and do a good job defensively, and it certainly helps when the forwards and midfielders are doing their job as well up the field and making it a bit easier with some dirty balls coming in. And but I think we're starting to gel well, and hopefully onwards and upwards from here.
You sound excited, I can assure you. Your voice is stuttering slightly, and so you should be. But Alex Rance, what a job he did. Yeah,
he's been superb all year, Alex. He's done some really good jobs on some big key forwards that are probably outsize him a little bit, but he matches them for strength week in, week out, and does a fantastic job. And he's improving all the time, and I mean, it's just great to play alongside someone that plays as hard as he does and wins the contested ball that he does, so it's fantastic.
Steve, Chris Conley here. When did you know you were going to play on Cyril Rioli?
Probably Tuesday this week. I got a bit of a heads up that might be the job that I was going to get, but I was pretty excited about it. I've obviously played small defence for the last couple of years now, and it's a really good challenge to test yourself against the best small forwards in the competition, and Cyril's definitely up there with those, that's for sure. So it was a great challenge for me, and you learn a lot from those small forwards, and hopefully I continue to learn going forward.
And what were one or two of the defensive mechanisms you used in this game to try and foil Cyril?
I suppose Cyril's a fantastic player, and he's extremely agile, and so I probably he's one that you can't let get goal side, and the couple of times that you do let him, he just takes full advantage of that. And so I just tried to keep him up the field, and knowing he's a left footer, try to keep him on his right side as often as I possibly could. But as you know, that's probably harder said than done, so easier said than done, sorry.
I love the kick-ins, Stevie. There was kick-ins at the start that broke the game apart with those big, long kick-ins. It was bold, and you took them on, and it was actually gutsy.
Yeah, I mean, Ben Griffiths came in for his first game, and he's got a huge booming leg on him, so I mean, it was probably a bit of a plan to use that when we can and get his confidence up about, and he did a great job also down there in defence on the tall forwards.
Steve, Chris Newman I thought played a fantastic game, and what have you learned off him? And he's the leader of the back six, and just the focus for the back six in this particular game led by Chris.
Yeah, I suppose the focus for us doesn't change too much week in, week out. The only difference is the opposition that we come up against, and Chris has been a fantastic leader of the footy club, and probably unheralded. Like, before I came here, I probably didn't understand what a great leader he was, but he's a genuine person and a great person to have around the club, and a really strong leader to have beside you in the back line, and he was fantastic again today.
You've got St Kilda, Fremantle and GWS to come before the bye. On today's form, he'll be winning all those. Gee, you must go in with some confidence.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say there's any easy games in the AFL, and this year's proved that even more so than any other, and we've just got to be on our game again next week and come up against St Kilda and give it our best shot and hope to come away with the 4 points and take it 1 week at a time. It's a bit of a cliche, but I'll run with it.
Now, Stephen, I'm not going to quite let you off your hook on your goal so dismissively. Have you kicked many goals in your levels of footing?
Yeah, well, I actually grew up playing a bit of forward, but it's been a few years since I've kicked a lot of goals, so and to do it on the MCG in front of a screaming crowd of 50,000 and the Tigers supporters were up and about today, it was something I'll certainly never forget. So, yeah, absolutely thrilled with that, and thrilled to get the win out there today. It's a great result for the club.
I tell you what, your dad never kicked one like that.
Well, he tells us all about it, the goals that he did kick. He reminds me all the time that he kicked 8 one day, so I've got a few more to go to get there.
That'd have been the under-19s. Wouldn't be the one.
Well,
he leaves that out of the story every time.
Well, we can hear kids in the background. The family's in there. Mum and Dad there?
I haven't seen Mum and Dad here, but they were here as they are every week supporting me, and it's fantastic to get Dad involved in the club again, and it's pretty proud to be playing in his jumper for the club that he played for, and I'm loving every minute of it at the moment. So.
Well, you should be.
Beautiful still.
You'll see that goal over and over during the week. I hope you enjoy it. Good on you, Stephen.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for having us.
Stephen Morris with us. Richmond 21-11, 137 to Hawthorn 10-15, 75.
And just by the way, Dad, of course, Kevin Morris, Richmond and Collingwood, and Mum, an international basketballer for Australia.
Give me your best version of the numbers, Drew, just the key ones.
Well, let's go the individuals, Shane Tuck, 35 possessions, 19 of them contested. Tremendous. 9 clearances, 10 tackles. The tackles were matched by Foley, who had also 10 in 27 disposals. Deledio had 32 possessions, 14 contested. Martin 32, Cochin 31, Foley 27, Grigg 24, Newman 23, Conker 21 and Edwards 21. And for the Hawks, Burgoyne led the way with 26, 24s for Birchall and Whitecross, 22 for Mitchell, 21 Sewell.
Give us the votes for the ABC Footballer of the Year, Mark.
I gave one to Alex Rance. The job on Buddy Franklin was just spectacular, and he set a pattern for his side of how selfless you have to be a good team. And I gave 2 to a Tuck, 19 contested possessions, in and under in the centre bounce, in and under around the ball ups and boundary throw-ins. Thought he was spectacular. But the Rolls Royce of the team is Trent Cotchin. He is a beauty. He just continues to get the ball. He continues to push it forward and hit targets. A star, absolute star, that kid.
3 to Cochin, 2 to Tuck and 1 to Rance. Richmond 21 goals 11, 137 over Hawthorn, 10-15, 75. A result that will be spoken about right throughout the weekend and dissected on the Sunday Inquisition tomorrow.